Ella es más rollo que película. No puede estar ni un minuto sin pensar. Se disgusta con tan solo una mirada, una ocasión, un motivo para hablar. Mira, ella se mortifica y se complica en su evolución.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How you guys doing? This is Mo Flex. I'm here to welcome you onto this debate. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this show right now. And as you can see, this show is actually sponsored by Oslo Caribbean Feeling all the way in Norway, because this is where it actually all started. I was the host for the debate that was happening in Oslo, where we had half live, half online debate, as some of our members, obviously due to lockdown, were not able to attend with us, and socially distanced on the stage. We held the other half of the debate, and it was actually very heated and very fired up, and we managed to touch on very important topics during that period, and now we're here back again as on demand to do it again as part two, because as you can imagine, with such an important topic, we were not able to conclude it in one small session, and we had to kind of bring it in to continue. And we're here with you completely live today. If you're watching us, wherever you're watching us, thank you for joining in. Remember to use the chat room. There's going to be a lot of very heavy chats going on in the chat room throughout this conversation. So let's take this moment right now to say hello. Let us know that where you are watching, who you are, and where you're watching from, which part of the world, which city, who's watching. Maybe drop your flag or just say hi. Just let us know that you're with us, because obviously, as well, this is a very serious topic that we're going to be talking about. But the first and foremost about our community, there's a lot of love, and there's a lot that we share together. So let's start with that little bit of love, and show us where you are in the chat room right now. Just I can see quite a few of you watching already. Come and just say hello and say which city you are. But in the meantime, I'm about to bring on to you the sponsors of the show, the organizers of the Oslo Caribbean Feeling. They're not part of this debate. They're just here to support us and to make sure that this event really kind of takes place and that it happens. So we have the facility to have this important topic. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Oslo, please welcome Reidun and George Daniels. How you doing, guys?
Good. Thank you. I'm excited.
Welcome, Reidun. Welcome, George. You want to say hello as well?
Hi. Thank you, and welcome to us tonight.
So you guys have been on the brunt of it backstage with me, giving you a lot of talks and typing and sorting out the tech side and whatever, all the runnings around. So thank you for all your support, and thank you for your patience to try to organize something like this as well. So we do appreciate it. I'm going to bring you back later on to discuss the Oslo Caribbean Feeling, which is going to be happening in October. And that video that you saw at the start of this show, I'm sorry that the countdown froze, but the video that we saw at the start of the show is the Oslo Caribbean Feeling, where we have live music, live shows, debates like this that get so powerful that we have to kind of take it into the online world as well, seminars, all sorts going on. And you guys kind of put it together. So it's a pleasure. And we're going to bring you back later on to tell us a little bit more about that. But right now, get off my screen, please, because this is not your time. Thank you very much to George and to Reidun. And now I want to introduce you to our panelists. We have an eclectic group of panelists from all over, with an array of talents and experiences to bring to the table. Obviously, this was what's kind of sparked it for us to continue, because it is the kind of debate that we're having today is not just another chit chat. I mean, this is actually something I said off stage to our team as well, and this is why I love working with these guys. In my personal opinion, personally from my side, I believe that in the last 5 years, there's been a trend of awareness. We've been making everyone aware of everything, whether it's cancer, mental health, sexual health, all these different things. And we spent 5 years of awareness. Now that everyone's aware, we're still kind of trending on the awareness. let's stop making everyone aware. Let's do something about it. That's basically the debate and what we're talking about. And that's why we started this chat to kind of say, okay, so we now have an awareness of what's been going on in our industry. What can we do about it? What changes can we affect and make it actually work, so it can not just be a chat and not just be aware, but to actually make it effective? Okay, so I'm going to bring on panelists to do that. Before I do so, I want to do a little shout out to everyone who's watching right now. We have a good support from the UK, here in Scotland, Bournemouth. Teresa are there. Zhao, thank you very much, my brother. He's out there. Suze, Hampshire in the house. James, thank you very much. We have a strong connection from the UK. We also have Stavanger in the house, Trondheim in the house. Dustin Hogg, who was the organizer of Agosar, he's here as well in the chat room. So we got a lot of people watching. We have Dariella sending some love. Please keep it coming. Let us know before we hit it heavy where you guys are watching from. All the way from the USA, and advocate for the same kind of topic that we do as well. Rudy is watching as well. He's saying this is good stuff. Thank you very much, brother. He's another guy who's trying to promote this kind of energy as well, this change. So a lot of love to him as well. So let me start off right now. I'm going to keep it Norway. Okay, my sister and a very loved one to me, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to bring out to you. She's an incredible dancer, an amazing teacher, and she's obviously spending a lot of time on the dance floor. Magda from Norway. How do you do, Magda? Well, Poland via Norway.
Poland in Norway. Hi Mo, hi everybody. I'm really glad to be a part of this debate again, and continue the subject that we started in October. So glad to be here.
One love. I'm going to keep you there with us as I now go from Poland and Norway to Stavanger in Norway with Nee.
Hi, everybody. Raring to go here in Stavanger. It's not so cold, but okay, we will go. Let's get on with it. I'm ready to go, man.
He says it's not so cold, but our viewers in the US and Dubai will disagree with you. Okay, and then talking about our viewers in the US, we actually have a member of the panelists is all the way from Houston, USA. Ladies and gentlemen, he runs a school out there and is working in the Kizomba industry as well as other styles. Please welcome onto the screen Billy from Houston. How you doing, Billy?
Hey, what's going on? Happy to have a great combo with good people. So let's get it.
Amazing. I'm going to go now back to Oslo for a moment because we're talking about Kizomba and Dansa. I'm going to go to Val Dansa from Oslo, who was one of the live panelists at the last debate, and she had a lot to add as well. Val, how are you? We can't hear you, Val. You're muted still. This is the new world of 2020 and 2021. Does
it work now?
Yeah, I can hear you. This is a standard, something we're going to be remembering for many years to come. We can't hear you. This is normal. Don't worry about it. Val, how you doing?
I'm amazing. Thank you guys for having me again. I think it's going to be a lovely evening, a lovely second part of the debate, and a very important topic to discuss. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. I'm going to go from Norway all the way to the UK right now. So we've got salsa and kizomba on the screen right now, and I have to have a representation of the bachata scene. This is a guy who's very close to me from before lockdown, but during the lockdown, I can't get rid of him on the screen because we're doing so much together. Ladies and gentlemen, the very, very talented Julian Mr. M is here. Well,
hello, everybody. Thank you for having me, Mo. Thank you to everybody. It's wonderful to be discussing this kind of topics here for the betterment of our scene. So thank you, guys. Welcome. Thank you.
For the betterment of our scene, yes, sir. And so now, you can see I've saved 2 more spaces because although they are both dancers and they're all both part of the dance industry, we've kind of invited them on a different level as well. So they've got experience with the dance scene, but being a psychologist, she's got a lot to add onto this table. Ladies and gentlemen, based in Norway as well, please welcome Stina.
Hello. I'm really happy to be here as well again to continue the discussion. So I'm looking forward for the evening.
Welcome to the chat, Stina. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, please, as we kind of get into it, make sure that you kind of drop what you want to say in the chat room, and we will try to address that as part of our topics that we're going to be discussing later on. And last but not least, there are a couple of people that started a campaign. It's called Climb Against Abuse. And she's one of the leading members of this organization. Ladies and gentlemen, she's been working with different promoters and teachers, different schools, different dancers across the globe to try to bring change, to try to bring positive direction in this. It's a pandemic within itself, in this pandemic, which is outside of the pandemic that we know. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lara Tabet.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Mo. I'm really happy to continue this discussion, to move it forward, really, onto hopefully more practical items to discuss.
Awesome. So basically, just so everyone knows, we're not just a bunch of friends that are going to be tapping each other on the shoulder. It is going to be some things that we agree, something that we don't agree. We agree all that there is a problem, and that's what we all hear on the same screen together to say, okay, so how can we address this problem? The way that we tackle the problem is always, this is the challenge, because how can we bring the change? So we're not here to go, yes, we are all good people. We all recognize that there's a problem. That doesn't help us right now. What helps us is, what can we do about it to bring the change, to make the difference happen? Okay, so we're gonna dive straight in. Okay, so we're gonna because we've got limited time, and this is a very heavy topic, and I know that we have allowed such a small period of time to be talking about it. So in order we don't go too far, let me get cracking straight away. Welcome to the show to everybody who's here. Now that we know that we were here in October 2020 in our part 1 of the discussion, now we are in the part 2 of the discussion, so we have a different direction of how we approach things. Okay. So my first question to the panel, and please step forward as you see fit, because, sorry, I forgot to mention that some of these panelists here have a mixture of talent, whether they have their own school, so we can make change within the school that we are running ourselves, dance classes, because obviously this is a separate issue as well, regular classes that we teach as a leader of the group of the classes, or the collection of dancers. We have something change to make, whether you're a DJ, because obviously you're running the music and kind of overseeing how things are running on a dance floor, controlling the environment of what's happening. The organizer and the promoter who's running the event, who's in charge of the event. Sometimes your eyes are not on the dance floor, but you are in charge and responsible for what's happening within your own community event. Obviously, last but not least, the influencers of the scene, because obviously what we say and what we do does make an impact within the industry. It does set an example. So that's why we have a collection of these guys here. They have different outlets. So the first one, how do we go about to agree on what's acceptable and not acceptable behavior, and then spread the knowledge about this across the dance floor? So let me explain. Once we've developed the certain codes and standards, we say, okay, so these are the ethical grounds of how we're going to do this. How can we educate and enforce this within our community? Because we can say, okay, between us, we say, this is what's good, this is what's not good, this was acceptable, that's not what's acceptable. How can we make that happen across the scene? How can we enforce that and educate the people as well? How can we make the change? I'm going to put that to the panel. Who wants to go first?
I'm happy to go first, if everybody minds. Right. So I think this is a really good question, Mo, and I think there's also a bit of a difference to make with regards to what's wrong and what's not okay. So there are different levels of things. There are things that are effectively illegal, and I think this is each person's responsibility to know. I think there are things that are that will not be accepted within specific events, and these things need to be communicated very clearly in codes of conduct for everybody who would sign these codes of conduct. So anybody really involved in the organization, in the delivery of anything within an event. So teachers, DJs, photographers, anybody who's being employed. So as part of your employment contract. There are some expectations for each event that need to be communicated to everybody attending. So this can be done through rules of engagement, through, in the event description, at reception, and so forth. But no matter what you do and how much you communicate, all of these things, strictly speaking, there are still things that are wrong, and there are still boundaries that are individual. So, and these are things that each person defines for themselves. And these you cannot write on your forehead, and you can't be, giving away cards explaining what your personal boundaries are. So I think what we really, really need to prioritize as each and every single person is the concept of consent. And that is not related to sex. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about sexual abuse. We're talking about consent as a concept, i.e., I ask you to dance. I am asking you to dance. And just this simple gesture is one that means that I am asking for your consent to dance. I am inviting you to get a drink. I am not giving you a drink and forcing you to drink it or peer pressuring you to drink, whatever it is, really. I mean, I know that people associate my involvement with sexual abuse because of the charity, but the concept of consent is not just one that is related to sex and sexual abuse. It is a way, it is a behavior. And this is a learned behavior. We need to start to learn it, all of us. And all of us need to also feel that we are empowered to set our boundaries, to say no and not necessarily need to justify ourselves for not wanting a drink.
Sorry to interrupt you. When I ask that question, let me be a bit more direct with the question, because you mentioned a couple of things, which one thing you said it was legal, and then personal boundaries. We have illegal and personal boundaries. Not crossing those two lines. Specifically, my question is this: there are certain things that are law that most people should understand. This is quite black and white. You're either breaking the law, you're not breaking the law. I'm going to come and arrest you. All right. Then there are things that happen in the street that we know is not necessarily breaking the law. It's just for the community, for general people, for humanity, it's just not acceptable. It's not an acceptable behavior. So we have this outside, right? Now, in the dance industry, we do actually behave slightly differently to the outside world. We're more there's a lot more contact, there's a lot more closeness. I mean, when we see each other instantly, as opposed to how you see, interact with other people, especially in Europe, there's a big hug, big kiss and kiss. You don't kind of do that on a general public dance. I call them the civilians. The civilians don't do that. The dancers do that, right? So there are certain boundaries that are going to be a little bit different to civilians than there are onto the dance floor. And what I'm saying to you, imagine I am an organizer, or I'm a teacher, or whatever. Let's work out now. The question is, first of all, what are the boundaries? What's acceptable? What's not acceptable? If I were to write a rule sheet and say, this is on my wall, this is not okay behavior. Now, most of it is going to be common sense. The thing is that, unfortunately, common sense is not so common these days, right? So this is the first thing.
Sure.
Secondly, there are obviously the people who are we're trying to educate, are obviously ill-educated, unfortunately, and don't know where the boundaries are. So if I were to kind of put the obvious sheet and say on the wall, this is the do's and don'ts of the dance floor. Okay, that's the first question. Second question is, how can we enforce that? How can we make that a reality and not just, I've got my party, I'm going to put it on the wall and hopefully no one does it? How can we educate people across the world? How can we apply that to the clubs, to the parties, to the dancing, to the social, to the everything? How can that be possible? That's a more direct of my question, please.
I don't know if I should let other people give some views before I pitch in again.
Let me go to Nee, because Nee looks like the way he's smiling, he's got some input to bring into the bag.
Yes, I want to start off by looking at this from probably a certain angle. For example, what are the general things that you will accept or not accept? Do you accept getting ripped off? No. Yes or no? We don't have to write this down or not. It's the same thing that we need to bring into this dance environment. A lot of times, from my experience, what I believe is we can do here is go straight to the point and tackle it as it is, in the sense that if we're going to get this done right, we have to start from the basic point of people's own self-respect. Yes, this is where we have to try to push people. Your self-respect will determine what you will accept or not accept. this is it. Now, I know we're all, or most of us are adults. I should say most of us are adults. So it's kind of a little bit hard to change that, some behaviors that we have already picked up. So from our point of view as organizers and teachers and dancers, what can we do? We need to create the environment where it is going to be hard to accept these things. An example, a lot of times, a lot of unacceptable behavior happens when nobody is looking, when it is dark, when we are intoxicated, when we are surrounded by people who think this is acceptable. Yes. So from my point of view, these are the kind of things that we need to try to either eliminate or limit. So if I come to a place where, for instance, I give an example. I go to a festival and there is no dark room. It's going to be hard for me to do certain unacceptable behavior in those dark rooms. Simple as that. If I go to a dance floor where everything seems to be open, everybody seems to be respecting the boundaries of each other, I'm going to stand out like a sore thumb if I try to approach somebody and try to do something that is not acceptable. So from my point of view, practically, if we want to teach people, it's going to be a hard process. What we need to do is to make environments where it's hard for them to do to make some acceptable behaviors, where it is easy to flag up. These are some of the things that we will need to at least find ways of doing. I will leave it here for now so others can jump in a little bit before I continue.
Before I kind of pass it on, because I want to address it also from the other angles from the dance floor. But I want to stick to Kizomba just for a moment, because it's actually an important subject. You mentioned the dark room. Now, I don't know how it is in other places, but in Europe, there was actually a thing for a couple of years where they had what's called the dark room. Some events were having it, and there was a lot of goings on in this. Now, obviously, I make a lot of kind of Kizomba jokes and stuff, not because I'm actually going to do a whole debate about this. I make a lot of jokes because not because of the music and the dance, is the way that it's been bastardized, is the way it's been abused in its own right, because it's a beautiful dance, it's a beautiful music, the culture and the history behind it was actually from a place of pain. There's a lot of pain, there's a lot of many different things, as I've discovered in time, as I've learned, there has a lot of history. But once it started becoming mainstream Europe, it started to deform in a way that some of the kind of maybe old school dancers were not acceptable of, but it was making money and profit for a lot of different promoters. So they were having things like the dark room and so on, which was there was a lot of things going on. I wanted to kind of push it over to a couple of the Kizomba dancers. I'm going to go to Val and Oslo in a second, but I want to ask Billy, do you have this situation? Because I know it's definitely big in Europe. I don't know if it was hidden in the US. How was it there, and how did you tackle that?
Okay, well, I kind of want to hammer home one point, and that is ultimately it's not alcohol or dark rooms or any of that stuff that is what causes these issues. It's people's personal choices.
Yeah.
And I don't want to blame the dark room, because dark room, and if you choose to go in the dark room, and you can choose to keep your hands to yourself and be respectful in that dark room. So I don't want to, it's kind of like, you know, I have a 1-year-old daughter, and yes, I put baby gates on because if I don't, she's probably gonna put something in her mouth that she shouldn't, or put her hand into electrical socket, or walk down some stairs. But once you get to a certain age, I shouldn't have to put up a baby gate. I should just be able to tell you, hey, here, don't walk down the stairs, to use a very like basic metaphor. But you know, don't put your hand in the socket, you know, because not only is it, you know, it's gonna hurt you and it's gonna hurt us. So I just want to just kind of get that out there, because I don't want to put the blame on these dark rooms, because often some of the same people who've criticized the dark rooms were in the dark room engaging in all type of stuff, if you know what I'm saying. So, you know, there's a lot of hypocrisy there. Oh, the dark room is ruining my culture, but who's in there getting it in all night? But I'm digressing. Yeah, I feel that, I guess to answer your question, depending on where you are, there's ways to deal with this. But like Laura said, it's all about consent. And everywhere you are, every level you are, or every, I guess, sphere you're in, you can do it. If you are a teacher, you can talk about consent. That's actually one of the first things we talk about when we teach classes at our events, because we're organizers too. We talk about it in our code of conduct, and we've talked about it so much that people who don't vibe with that don't come to our events anyway. That's how much that we've kind of hammered this kind of thing, which is great if you want a safe space. But wherever you are, include conversations about consent. At parties, sometimes it can be difficult, but you can put the posters on the wall. There's usually classes before the party. Make sure that the teachers who teach those classes before the party talk about consent. If you're a DJ, I'm a DJ too. Some point during the night, maybe in the beginning, say something about consent. You're afraid it'll kill the mood? I promise it won't. And if it does, it means that there are creeps there that shouldn't be there anyway. But yeah, I might have gotten off task. But yeah, the dark rooms, I've seen them in Europe. I've been in some. I mean, whether you like them or not, and drinking. I like to have some drinks at events. I've never assaulted anybody. You can have a little bit of personal responsibility. I think that there are people who enjoy the dark rooms. For me, I personally like to be able to see a little bit when I dance. But again, I'm in a different place. I'm married. Maybe if I was single and I wanted to mingle on a different level, maybe it would be more fun for me. I don't know. But it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, personal responsibility is where it's at.
Can I bring it over to Val?
Yeah.
Because I want to get it from Val's perspective on this one.
Yes. Thank you, Mo. I was a little bit reminded of this topic of, women dressing in a certain way and tempting a guy to harass or sexually assault. When Nee was talking about the dark room, that's nothing against Nee. I know you're coming from a good place, and the idea behind that is totally clear. But it feels a little bit like, take away the temptation. But here I agree totally with Billy. It's something that a human being should already be raised with, or later on be educated about. And I'm not a fan of the dark room, but why not let other people have the, fun and whatever comes with it of a dark room or drinking alcohol or whatnot. It's rather this knowing, education, respect, and everything that you get from class and from your surroundings in order to behave in an appropriate way, I think. And what can teachers do? Me as a teacher, I think what is important, and I see that a lot, I have conversations about this, is that a teacher should not only be someone who knows how to dance and then goes on and teaches steps or teaches dance just like this. I feel it should be people also who have a little or basic understanding of human behavior, reading signs, communication, all these things that make a teacher really. Because actually the teachers that go to university to be a university teacher, to be an educator, they don't lack those classes. They have the psychology. They have the, I'm missing the word right now in English, but the methodology, that's what I want to say. So I think that's very important.
I'm gonna just cut it for a second before Nee comes in, because I want to direct it a little bit. We're having a difference of opinion right now on what's currently going on. All right, what are our views on it? And sorry, it was my fault. I kind of directed the question originally this way after Nee spoke about it. I want to kind of more go on to how, if you feel, something that you feel bad towards, and how can we change it? So, for example, Billy kind of put it right and said, okay, so he doesn't go as a married man, as a guy who doesn't agree, whatever, doesn't go in there, but, and Val said the same thing, but, let people have their own thing. If they want to go, then let them go. So don't blame the dark one. That's fine. But Nee, you said that obviously this is an issue for you. If it's an issue, how can we tackle it? That's the direction I want to go from. Let's find where the problems are and how we're going to tackle it, rather than take opinions and views of certain things that we might like or might dislike. Remember that I'm here. I'm not giving you my opinion on what I agree with or not. I'm here to kind of basically poke a little bit. So I'm taking it from a point of view. I'll go to Lara for a second.
Yeah, I just want, in terms of just from the perspective of somebody who's worked in that space of sexual abuse, I just want to really reiterate the importance of when we talk about identifying the problem, actually identifying the problem. Because if we are not actually identifying the problem and we think we're solving a problem that's actually not the problem, the only thing we're doing is actually making the situation worse, because we are effectively saying, find another way to do it. We are not saying this is not acceptable. So if you are saying, well, the same things that Val sort of talked about women's clothing or somebody being drunk and so forth, if you bring these things up, which I know thankfully nobody here did, all you're saying is go find another girl to do it to. You're not saying this is not acceptable. And this is why what Billy said is really, really important. It is about understanding the reason why things are wrong, and the way to deal with it is effectively to implement consequences. And this is the way the world works. The world works that if you break the law, you go to jail or you pay a fine. And some people, literally, this is the only reason why they don't break the law, unfortunately. And I think that in this case, it should be the same. There should be consequences. And the consequences are that, as far as I'm concerned, an organizer has every right to set out the behaviors that they expect from everybody working from them at their event. This can include you shall not drink if they want to, not that I'm saying that this is necessarily something. And then you are allowed to suspend this person from their work if they break these rules of the code of conduct.
Are you talking about staff or social dancers?
This was staff, and now I was going to say, in the same way, if an organizer establishes rules of engagement that are clear, posters, as Billy was saying, at the entrance, on the walls, wherever they need to be, in every private event, I'm pretty sure everywhere in the world, although I don't know every single country, but definitely in Europe, the organizer has the right to remove an individual from the event. This does not need to be done in a scandalous way. This does not need to be done in a shouty way. But it needs to be done, because otherwise, effectively, what happens is that other people leave, the people who don't feel safe.
Good. I'm glad you said that, because I'm going to go to this is actually one of the big topics we're going to be talking about later on. What can we, as promoters, do about it? What can we start to effectively make? And that's going to be a whole different topic by itself. But right now, I'm glad you touched on that. They've asked them to leave, or they've asked them to do whatever. This is the boundary I'm talking about. How can we know the boundaries of the code of conduct? Let me give you an example. I'm going to go to Julian to start off with this example right now. Let me give you an example. Different things are acceptable in different communities, if you understand what I'm saying, right? So I come from an African community. Julian comes from a Latino community. We have different ways. I just not even such a big difference. I went from the UK community, the British way of life, to the Norwegian way of life, and there's a slight culture shock difference on how to engage with the opposite sex, whether it's going to be just as on a social, just kind of to dance with someone, or whether you're flirting with someone, or whatever. There's different codes of conduct. There's different ways of engagement, if you understand what I'm saying. So something might not be okay in one area, but it might be okay in the other. For example, I will give you a personal example. I was going to one of the clubs that Julian knows in the south of London, which is not very salsa-like. It's very Colombian local community club, okay? And I know for starters that it's, if I don't want to fight anybody, I don't go and just ask the girl to dance. You ask whoever's with her, the boyfriend, the brother, the cousin, just the guy sitting next to her. It doesn't matter. Otherwise, it's going to kick off. So there's different codes of conduct in this way, but also in the other way. I know that kind of from different cultures, whether they come from South Africa, whether they come from South America, whether they come from different place, the girls can be a little bit feisty and the guys are a little bit kind of strong. They come on a little bit strong. So the approach is going to be a little bit different. And this is from a point of ignorance, not a point of offense. So the guy's not trying to be offensive. He's communicating the way that he knows what's acceptable in his local community. But you are running an event. You are running a party now in London or now in Norway. And this behavior for this fresh person that just came in, for this salsa dancer from another area, is not acceptable within the community of who you're dancing with. So what do we do there? Let me go to Julian for a moment.
Okay, hello guys. Thank you for having me here. Great points, and I agree with everyone points. And what it seems like is that every scene is kind of different, varies in a slightly one way or another, whether it's kizomba, salsa, or bachata. But also depending on your where you are. Oh no, don't put me on the first one. I want to see more people here. Look at those beautiful faces out there. So what happens in London, we have also subcultures. So we have subcultures of the Latino community and subcultures of the salsa community. You know, that's broken up into two different things. We also have a big outgoing nightclub scene, you know, which just happens to drop by in some of the events that we run. I think that one of the first things that we need to do as promoters, or one of the first things I do, is to basically, as I think Lara or Val say, was the rules of engagement. We have to let everybody understand what scene, what the culture, what's the language that we speak. You know, ultimately, some of the people that come to a class, unfortunately, or come to dance, unfortunately, they want to connect with other people. Some may have pure thought behind it, but some others may be just guided by sex. And they might have seen a good video of somebody dancing kizomba or somebody doing something in bachata, and they say, I want to do that in bachata. And then they come to a class and they know they have to take we don't actually teach these moves because you're disrespecting the lady ultimately, you know? So one of the things that we do, and I have to do this, I run 3 nightclubs in London, 3 nights, one of bachata, one of SBK, and one a little bit more Dominican. I have to literally ask people to leave. And I don't do it myself. I ask the security to come over and remove this person because I'm not going to engage with that person. If they violate our culture, or if they make somebody feel uncomfortable, then that is enough. That is enough for us to remove them. The point is, how are we going to make people feel comfortable in coming to the promoter and saying, look, this man just said this to me and I don't think that's appropriate. You know, and has he done it to more people as well? So one of the ways that we do this is that throughout the night, I kind of present our Latin culture. It's not about just holding the woman like they do in R&B clubs and hip hop clubs. The woman's walking past, you hold her hand and come over, let's start grinding together. It's not about this. It's neither a dark room, because, you know, it could be a dark room, but you still ask the lady with a gentleman approach. You ask the lady, and you know, it's very formal. And this is what I think we all enjoy doing this. What we actually involve in London is at the beginning of the classes, I present my dance teachers, and I think this is one of the ways that we can ask promoters to go. This is also kind of like a solution to do it. Ask for 5 minutes, every dance teacher that you've ever asked to come to your event, for 5 minutes to take the do's and don'ts of not only their class, but on the dance floor as well. I think we got to make the figures, the pillars of our community, us, feel a little bit more responsible for the safety of all. And I think that would be one of the key things is to make women be more approachable as friends. For example, I have my teachers and I say, this is Angela, this is Angelica, this is Jade, and they are your best friends. Whatever you need, ladies, or if anything's making you feel uncomfortable, please go over to them and they'll be willing to help in any sort of situation. They're kind of like their chaperones, if you may, okay? Now, I ask for my boys, look, my behavior during dance is completely different to how I behave in my personal sex life. This is we don't even involve this thing over. The way that we do in public is beautiful, and in private, within the assembly, we always respect and be able to maintain a high level of not just professionalism, but humanism. And I think this is one of the things that we need to get across to the men. I would love, in my up and coming events, I will make sure that we do classes that are attended by at least 80 to 90% of the people that are going for classes in the parties, and maybe even on the night, making these conversations be aware of it a little bit more, so that people that are being abused or feel uncomfortable can come forward and say, hey, you know what? I don't think this is right. Because one of the things that happen is because sometimes some of the men that do this or the women that do this, they are not reprehended because they know they can get away with it. So one of the things that we can do is say, this is not acceptable. And you know, as somebody said, the rules of engagement. Also understanding the different cultures within the scene. In every single event that we've had, we've always asked the people, say, look, I know this is a very close dance, but you still have to keep your boundaries. Just know where to keep your hands and all of this. Because some people are literally coming from a completely different culture. I come from a Latino culture, yet I don't think that applies or that has anything to do with how I dance salsa or how I dance bachata. When I dance salsa, I take the culture of salsa dancing. When I dance bachata, I take the culture of bachata dancing. And I don't take just the culture of bachata dancing of what is seen online. For example, all of these extra sexual and kind of abusive moves that you can see online, because the people that are doing it are partners. But we kind of have to draw the difference between this is a part of their show and this is a part of the culture. Like, for example, the slapping bachata that you see people do when they turn into Dominican bachata, and then the man slaps the bottom of the woman, and it seems to be like a common move in Dominican bachata shows. And I'm like, wait a minute, if you ever even try to do that in the real life, you won't be alive. You won't even be able to finish that move.
Do you think that this move would be accepted on a dance floor in somewhere in the Dominican Republic?
No, definitely no.
You go to Takana and you can do that straight away? No.
No. In the Dominican Republic, you can be dancing dembow. You can be dancing the dirtiest dembow you could ever imagine, where you dancing.
So why would it been okay to do that on the dance floor here in our social community?
Well, because of consent. It's completely different cultures. If you go into a dembow infused night, more of a Dominican Colombian kind of night, you will go with people that you already know. You don't just go approach a stranger and just be dancing like that, unless there's been prior consent. You know?
Can I just comment on this? Because I think when we live in it, a lot of the events that we go to and a lot of the cities that we live in, you no longer can, we can't assume, it's really naive to just think that people don't know that they are surrounded by other cultures. So, this is the thing, right? It's like people know that. So I think there is a difference between honestly doing something that you did not know was wrong and to continue doing it. The biggest issue is when you continue to do it, when the person has put their hands, is trying to push you away, the person has said no, the person is like, we need to stop pretending that we are talking about somebody who has mistakenly done a little something, and you said, I'm sorry, I'm not comfortable with that, and then they said, oh, I'm so sorry, I did not realize, let's move on. That's not what we're talking about here. We are talking about people who, we know. I mean, we're all we have emotional intelligence. People know, it's not. I think we just need to be clear that we're not talking about these little mistakes and mishaps. We're talking about serious stuff.
Totally. I think we need to make it more aware and not kind of like, because sometimes it happens on the dance floor and somebody continues the dance, for example, and it's inappropriate. Somebody goes, oh, sorry, and then you just continue the dance. And I think, as you say, it kind of serves for people to continue doing it. And
talking about, because Laura just kind of touched on the lunacy of the boundaries and whatever. Eric makes a very good point here. He says it is absolute lunacy to assume that a sexual offender's defense is down to his lack of insight to the wrong choice he or she makes, and for certain ignorance is a non-excuse. Usually these are habitual offenders, regular offenders. So when they are pointed out, it's the responsibility of the organizer to kind of deal with it. I just want to go to Lara to kind of, and then I'll go to Lee next. Go on.
Yeah, this is so very true. And I think what we're trying to do here is just, we are not, these discussions, the codes of conduct, the rules of engagement, they are not actually about changing the behavior of these people who are maliciously, you know, basically just being predators and maliciously going and doing this stuff. These people are not going to change just because you've told them that what they are doing is wrong. They know very well that what they are doing is wrong. I think what we are trying to do is, first of all, make some people understand that sometimes they can cause harm unintentionally, either by laughing at things that are not right, by not being an ally, not interjecting, by, you know, victim blaming. These are things that are, you know, these are the things that we're going to change. And also the other thing that we want to change is the acceptance of the bad apples. So there aren't a lot of people who are malicious in our scenes, but there are a lot of people who accept them, who are friends with them, who, oh, you did that, funny. No, it's not funny. It actually is not funny. And I don't know how many people actually just say, bro, that was not right. I am your friend, and I'm therefore telling you this was not right. So we're not trying to change the real the malicious predators. We are asking everybody to become active bystanders against these people.
And I just want to say something that you mentioned just there as well about kind of blaming, because there's a lot of, and I've seen this quite often when they say, "Oh, she's asking for it, he's asking for it," you know, and so on. I'm sorry, it's if somebody chooses to wear a certain outfit because that was what they feel comfortable to dance in, or that's what makes them feel good, that's what they look good in. Why is that should be the fault of somebody else? And this is what I'm going to go to this comment right here, which I had on the screen a little while ago. And this is directed more at the organizers, saying, as a participant or a student, I would like to know what codes of conduct are there that the organizer has in place, so then I can have the choice to stay in this event or in the school, or find somewhere else, because some people, they don't want to wait until an offense has been committed in order to kind of go, well, this place is not good enough for me. Whereas if there's a code of conduct and say, these organizers, these teachers, they don't accept this, therefore I can feel comfortable to come here because I feel safer, because there's a code of conduct. And that's the topic I wanted to kind of go with from the start. Nee wanted to add something, please.
Yes, thank you, Mo. I felt like I was lost there, but I'm back again. Anyways, yes. So first of all, I would like to tackle a few of the uses as a little of a rebuttal. When I made mention of all of these, what I indicated was we needed to create environments where acceptable behavior, or we would accept whatever goes on there. I made mention of the dark room, not saying that we should take away the dark room, but the fact that in the dark room there was acceptable behavior that we all didn't like. It was still acceptable because the people who were going there accepted what they were going to do or whatever it is. But I never said we should take it away. You could have a dark room, but then you can create an environment where when you go there, people will not feel like they needed to run away or they would feel abused or anything. We organize pool parties all the time. People are almost half naked and all of that. You will go to a pool party and you feel like you need to take your clothes off, and you not feel like somebody is going to attack you or anything. We go to the beach all the time. There are so many millions of people there in Brazil. People walk around sometimes almost half naked, and people who do not know those cultures think they are showing off their bodies. Why? Because they have created environments where even though they can do whatever they want and they have the choices to do whatever they want, they are not going to feel like unacceptable behavior is going to come towards them. And this was the main point for us in the dance scene. And I like the point here where we said that we are not going to change these people. So we shouldn't expect that we are now going to teach them what is right or wrong. A lot of the people who come to dance socially, they are people who, some of them even run companies. They write the codes of conduct of companies and all of those things. They know what is right. When they come into an environment which is conducive to unacceptable behavior, the people who have those tendencies will bring those tendencies out. How many times have you gone somewhere and then you felt like, this place is not for me? Nothing has happened, but you just had that feeling. because the environment was such that you felt this was not yours. This is what we need to create. And one of the bigger points are the consequences for when things happen. When I said also indicated that things, a lot of the times, unacceptable behavior happens when, for instance, in the dark. Yes, people get killed in daylight, but a lot more people get killed when it is darker. Why? Because those who have those tendencies feel like they can do much, much more in the dark. It doesn't mean that it doesn't happen during the day. It doesn't mean that they don't know that it is wrong or anything of that sort. So what can we do? And in my line of profession as an engineer as well, when you have a problem, yes, you do a root cause analysis, but in that meantime, you try to stop the bleeding. The root cause analysis here are people are not doing what is right. We need to teach them. What are we going to do to stop the bleeding? Part of stopping the bleeding is to make sure that the environment that you're coming in, as soon as you come in, you will see people who are greeting people properly, who after perhaps a dance, they will try to be nice and smile and all of those things. Yes, the root cause is people should know the right thing, and we will try to change that by telling them what to do. I can put up the poster: don't touch my butt, don't kiss on the dance floor, don't grope, and all of that. I will not read it. Half the time I don't even read it, even if it is there. How many times have we walked past a way that said one way, drive through it? Yes. And all of those things. So I think we need to try and focus on a couple of things here. What are we going to do? The environment we are creating. Part of that is sometimes the setting. If I come in, again, I have nothing against dark rooms, but if I come in and the room is dark, and I feel like I can do something, I will do it. This is one of the things that I am saying as well. Yes, this was the point I wanted to make. Yeah.
I've got to say, Nee is one of the most chilled and quiet people that I know. But when it comes down to topics that he's very passionate about, he's definitely got
because Mo, I will tell you, because I grew up with this. My mom worked with this for over 50 years. She was the lead of the women's like what Lara is doing right now. She worked with it for 50 years. I grew up with it. I went on campaigns with her, and I have seen some of the results of what they have been doing. A lot of it goes down to building that, of course, self-respect.
Building the foundation. Yes. Absolutely. Listen, I want to go quickly to a couple of comments here. And I'm so glad that of all the events that are all the venues that we could be discussing, we have one venue where we have a teacher that actually works in that venue. So we've got Barsasa on the line right now. I'm going to go to Julian in a minute because I know that Julian works a lot and he has things in place to combat these kind of situations, which we have. But obviously, he has 1 night a week or 2 nights a week that he has run. He is not the owner of the event. So obviously, different promoters are running different nights. So he's going to represent what he does on his night. And the ones that in question at the moment, I know for a fact that is not involved in the ones that he runs. So we can actually, maybe some of the other promoters can learn from him. So I'm going to go to Julian afterwards, but I'm going to go to Lara to answer some of these questions first, because obviously you spotted him. So we have here, Magdalena pointed out, she had in the Kizomba room in Barsasa, that there were inappropriate behavior. The only thing that as a woman, do I think is to pass on the message to other women or to other people, not to dance with this person. If I'm not a regular, I don't know these people. She is not part of the circle to understand that these are the not to go people before dancing with them and experience with them, which puts her off from going again. And again, we have Megan from Bournemouth. She said the same thing. She's actually all the way in Bournemouth, not in London, so she's not a regular in Barsasa. And a couple of times that she went, she had a very similar experience, and she just stopped, put her off from going. And have more people saying yes, it put me off from going as well. So this is like a regular situation that's happened before. Laura, what do you think about this? And I know that I'm going to put Julian straight after, because what the question that you have in place, I think he's already got those methods in control.
Right. So I think one of the very important thing is actually something that Julian did mention before, but also something that I have set out as one of the rules of having a zero tolerance event, which is effectively to have a support team That means people who, so Julian mentioned earlier, and introducing the teachers, people with actual, T-shirts, bracelet, whatever it is that you need to identify them. Who are the people who you can trust to ask questions, to ask about the rules of engagement, to ask about what is right, what is wrong, or to report stuff. But on this point, I really just want to hammer one message at home, because it's really important. Having these people, having random people wear random T-shirts does not make a support team. A support team are people who are trained, a minimal training, we're not talking become a psychologist, but who have a minimum training in understanding how to handle disclosure. So you cannot just choose 5 people, put some T-shirts on, and then expect them that if somebody goes to them and said, I was just raped in the bathroom, and they will just go, oh, well, are you sure? I mean, what happened? What were you drinking? Because that you are destroying like everything you have tried to build. So it is really, really, really important that these people are easily identifiable, but also that there are people who actually know how to respond to these things. And we've been actually working during the lockdown with a group of people, putting together some material, including code of conduct, rule of engagement, and some training material for your support team that we're gonna launch soon, hopefully. But it is really, really, really important to actually have that response, because if the response is wrong, you are doubling the harm that the person has just gone through. So it is not just about doing something for the sake of doing something and doing it wrong. These are sensitive issues, and I'm sure that Stina can have a lot of things to say about that. And when we are saying that we have a support team, they need to actually be a support team. They need to know where to take the person. They need to know how to speak to the person, what to say, what not to say. And these are not things that you just know how to do. These are things that you learn when you've worked with people who have suffered, these things, or you learn professionally.
So I'm going to
stop here.
I'm going to go to Stina next. By the way, guys, I'm going to move on after this. After I spoke to Julian and Stina, I'm going to move on to the next topic, because we still have a lot to be talking about, and we touched on the first one. But I'm going to go to Stina in a moment. I'm going to go to Julian first, because obviously this is nothing against Barsasa. Barsasa is a building. It's a venue. What happens inside is the responsibility of the people who hire that venue for that night and who want to do that. Julian is one of those guys, and he's one that's successful and comfortable to run in, because you have a few things in place. One of the things I know you have in place is that you have a code name. So if a lady, for example, whatever, say Laura, come on, whatever name you have, I'm looking for Laura. If she asks at reception, that the staff, the security, and everyone knows that she's calling for help, she's in trouble, discreetly, without kind of setting off alarm bells for people around her. And you have some things in place, which is good. The question I have for you is, what program do you have to let the So if I'm just someone who walks in through the door now, how do I know these rules that you have? How do I know these code names that you have? How do I know the safe people to talk to? That what your code of conduct is to help these people? How do I know from just walking in from the front door? How do you make it happen?
Okay, so it's quite difficult to let 100% of the people and know that these rules are there. What they do at Barsasa is that they have posters in the ladies' bathrooms where you can actually text a number if you feel anything that may have been going wrong with you, whether you have been abused or whether you're. Because in London, you have a lot of dates, I don't know, Tinder dates and this kind of dates where people just choose Bar Salsa because it's like a common ground. It's not a house club. It's not an R&B club. It's something where you can actually have a meal and have a cocktail and enjoy the night. So we get a lot of people just walking in for basic dates. And then in the bathrooms, there is telephone numbers that you can text if you have been, obviously, something has happened, and you have a code word at the bar. So if you tell all of the barmen have been trained to understand that this code. So it's I am looking for Angela. This is and it's an initiative that's done, is London wide. It's mainly in the West End of London, which is the main party area of London. And it says, I am looking for Angela. And If they say that, then the barmen have been trained to then pass them on to the manager, which is been trained in how to deal with these situations. First, they try to keep her away from whatever harm she might be going through, making sure that she hasn't been given any drugs or things like this that can alter her judgment. To make sure that she is not completely drunk or whatever, and then they know how to deal with it. We've been trained very in a basic way. Also, what we don't know is that the bouncers are always, the security in the place are always looking for this kind of behavior to eliminate it. The only problem is that because it's done in such a subtle way, especially when you're dancing close to somebody, especially in that kizomba room, you're dancing close to somebody. Mind you, there's 2 kizomba nights, so it might not happen.
There's 2 venues, no, 2 bar salsa, so it could be anyone.
It's Bar Salsa Soho, Bar Salsa Tempo. And Bar Salsa Soho is in the middle of the West End, so a lot of people just randomly walk in there. Another thing that they do is that the person can approach the security and can say discreetly, there is always a female security, always by law we have to have one. There's always a female security that then you can talk to and say, this person has just touched me incorrectly, I think you kick them out. About 50% of the time, and I know it's not a lot, they get thrown out of the venue without question. But then other times they just get spoken to because he's kind of like, oh no, I didn't know that was happening, or that wasn't true, or and this kind of behavior, I don't really know I honestly don't know how to approach it, because if somebody says that they have been disrespected on the dance floor while dancing kizomba, while dancing bachata, and they go to a security guard, they will take them out regardless, right? But some of the other times it's like, oh, I don't believe this, or there's a certain argument that sometimes the person in charge is not trained to do so. So there's a lot of things that we do. For example, in Tito's, the other one on Thursdays, we have managed to create a very family-like nightclub, and it's fantastic because you can clearly see who does not belong there, and who does not belong there, you're like, you're kind of paying attention. And I'm from the DJ booth above. I'm going, can you please keep an eye on this guy if he gets too close to people, and repeatedly to other girls, and please just chuck them out. And they already know. So I always work with the same security for that one on Thursday. The thing is, when you have a big nightclub, it's a 900-person capacity place, and we usually have 500 on a Wednesday. It's very difficult to keep tabs on absolutely everything, So it's I love for more to be done, but so far, to answer most questions, we have posters in the toilets that then direct you to telephone numbers that you can actually call while you're there. There is also the availability of using, because there's always somebody in the bathroom. There's always a lady in the bathroom or a man in the bathroom providing you perfumes, chewing gums, or anything else that you may want. And then so the ladies can speak to us for the phone. For the phone number. Also, they can go to the bar and say, where is Angela? I need to speak to Angela. And then they will put you in a place where you're kind of safe from the person that is trying to harm you. And the other one is that the bouncers have ultimate reason to throw you out. So they have a 0 tolerance policy for certain things. So, it's just very few times that the people that argue back nothing gets done about it,
And it does actually work, because we've seen it in action. I want to go to Stina quickly, because there's been a lot going on, and obviously I want to touch on right now, because we're talking about something quite specific direction. So I want to go more your psychology side instead of your dancer side, and give us a bit of feedback of what you think of what's been said so far. When you unmute yourself. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you clear.
Okay, good. So yes, I'm really happy that Lara brought up the topic of having a support team, because I think the fact of having some healthy role models, actually showing a good example of how to kind of moving forward and showing all the people how we can actually put limits, that this is actually acceptable, because I think in all social contexts we are basically, it's a really human fear that we all share, that we are afraid of being rejected, of doing something that is not acceptable within our social sphere. And so I think it's really important for to have healthy role models to show that boundary setting, whether it's really breaking of the rules that are clear in the rules of conduct, or kind of smaller boundary crossings that I feel, because I'm me and maybe you would feel it differently, that this is acceptable to actually present. And also it's the topic of actually, how do I know where my boundaries are, right? To create an awareness of how can I read, how can I know if my boundary has been crossed? Is it okay if I only feel a slight discomfort? Is it okay to speak it up and tell it, and to create this environment of actually that being accepted? And for that, I think such a support team of role models will be a really great idea, and also the teachers of the community, obviously teaching not only the dance steps, but also what can I say, what are the words that I can use, nonverbal obviously as well, how can I put my boundaries, but also what words can I use to set my boundaries in a good way to protect myself. And then coming back to the support group, I think in order to actually the people coming to these people and telling them about transgressions that they have experienced, it's important that, I really agree with Lara, it can't be whoever, it has to be people who are skilled in how to create trust and rapport, and who can create a sense of confidentiality, and that know also the line of how to proceed, what to do next in the system if that is needed. So it takes more than just putting whoever person in a t-shirt. I definitely agree with Lara on that. So I think normalizing or being a role model of how to say no. This is like with smaller kids, we have to educate our children on how to know what words do I use if I want to protect my body, if I want to say no, if I want to, all these things. And we need to teach the students as well, and we need to make it acceptable in the dance community. What words can I use actually to say no and put my healthy boundaries?
Okay, before we continue on, I'm just going to go to some of the comments very quickly. I'm going to run very fast through because there's some which are very relevant before we go to the next topic. First of all, Rosangela says, so glad this conversation is actually happening from the perspective of guidelines. When she started, there were really kind of gray areas, and it took a friend to educate her in order to know a little bit more. But this is really discussed by instructors, and this is one of the things that we're encouraging. More instructors, more organizations, more schools are kind of doing this onto their academy. Now, I know obviously there's no point to kind of discuss that here, because I know that everyone on this panel, on the screen, and most people in the chat room, a lot of teachers there, they actually do that as part of their dance education from beginners. We kind of is part of the way, and that's what kind of brought us a little bit more together. I'm going to go to I can't pronounce everyone's name correctly. I hope so. Is it Tone? Why do these problems happen in the first place? This is the question which is important. Why does it happen in the first place? Now, this is why the title of this discussion is called as it is. We kind of keep it very, very simple to kind of let you guys know: is my dancing space safe? Or is it? Because what we grew up is, as we kind of came through the dance scene, we felt this is our dance, and as things are in the background and hidden, we don't see them. We kind of feel shocked afterwards as more things came to light, and that's why now we have these kind of debates to educate people, to change things, to kind of progress forward. So I'm going to kind of and there's more things of how it came to and what teachers can do about this. I want to kind of touch on more a little bit later, but. I have someone that mentioned something here. There's a couple of promoters are talking about it. One lady's mentioned that more organizations should know about this. And actually, we have some promoters in the chat right now. One of them is Gomak Dion, and he's actually the organizer of the Step Up Ibiza Fest, which is going to be happening in September. And he's kind of like, okay, you know, I support what you're saying. I like what's happening. How can I know what to do better for my event? How can I make my event safer and more comfortable for people? And he's asking this direction to Lara. Lara says there are some information. I know that Lara's organization is helping a lot of promoters to do that, which is a good thing. So there is material, there is ways to go better, to kind of get around a lot more. Who's mentioned something here? Mel says that some of the students are actually part of these organizations because there are organizations for women in all over Europe, definitely in the UK and other areas as well, set out to kind of help in this kind of case. However, some of the promoters are not kind of aware of the information. So if you are, if you do work for one of these organizations, please step forward and go to your to the organizer of the local event, the local class, or whatever. Say, listen, I'm part of this organization. I want to support you. Here's some material. Here's some paperwork. Here's a poster. Here's a phone number if you want to use it for your event. And now it's in the hands of the organizer to kind of take it forward and make some change. But we have like Gomak here, there are some promoters who are going to say, show me more. And that's what we have organizations like Climb Against Sexual Abuse who are training some sorry, I'm speaking on your behalf, Lara, but you know,
I can go if you want.
Please, I would prefer that because you know more than I do.
Yeah, so I mean, we have put together some material. I mean, it's not just Climb. There's been a bit of a working group, but hopefully we'll launch that pretty soon. But we've been putting some material. Yes, there's a code of conduct. There are rules of engagement. There's a bit of a training for the support team, which actually one of the points, Mo, is that this support team should know all of these numbers in their locality, because this is one of the things that you should do, as opposed to pressuring somebody to go to the police, even if they don't want to, just dropping it in there. We are more than happy to share this material, but we do not share it with zero training, because we feel that if a person has not gone through the effort of producing this material, it's okay, but at least they should. We need to make sure that they know what's in there and that they know what they are committing to, because otherwise what we do is just say, people can just take this material and say, oh, look, we have all of this in place, and provide a false sense of security, because actually they don't know what they have in place. So we will share the material. There's just going to be a bit of a training, which I promise is not boring. And that is super duper important, actually. And then once you've done the training, you can just get everything that we've done. So yeah.
By the way, just in case we forget any of this stuff, anything that anyone in the panel here or in the chat room, please, if you do have something to add, go to the event page right now where you are watching this, or the page where you're watching this right now, and drop it in the comments. And I know Lara, I'm going to encourage Lara and all the team here. Any information that you have to help anybody out there, we're going to drop it into the chat, not just the chat, the post page of the main page, so people can access it later on after the show. And remember, this is a live right now, but it can be viewed afterwards as well. So if you feel like someone should see this, please forward it on, share it now, share it later, it doesn't matter, as long as it's shared. I want to go to Magdalena for a moment, please.
Yeah, just very shortly, I'm really happy to hear that actually in this discussion we are addressing this problem for multiple levels, and I'm really glad to hear, because we are starting from educating. And here's our role as teachers, not only teachers, but mainly when we address this by giving an example, like teaching behavior on the dance floor and giving an example as well. So even in my class, I always say to all the ladies, basically to everybody, you are always allowed to abort the mission and leave if you feel uncomfortable. And it doesn't have even anything to do with sexual abuse. It's just, even with dancing, you might feel uncomfortable because it's not a match. You have the right to quit. You have the right, I'm sorry, I need to take a break. And you have the right to say it. So this is the first point when we start, and that expands also to any behavior in the club. But then, of course, it's quite maybe doable to do it this way in a local communities when pretty much everybody knows everybody. Like, for example, in case of I guess Trondheim community or maybe also into a certain extent. But I do understand that there are other measures required in way bigger events when people actually don't know each other. And I'm really glad to hear that we can put those rules that in local communities we only talk about, we are able to put it in the form of code of conduct. And then making it even more clear that we stand up for it and encourage people that see if that rules are broken, they can speak up. Because if I think if the code of conduct is official, is it in form of a paper, or it's communicated by the teachers maybe, or by anybody, by the organizer, it's much easier to stand up for it to everybody, and also to speak up when it's basically abused. Yeah, when something not right is happening. And the last thing that also was mentioned at one point is, in general, personally, to standing up for it, because it's one thing to deliver a kind of a system and support team, but also us as a community on the daily basis, we have to stand up for it. Not only put all the responsibility on the teacher or organizers, but no, me as a person in the party, if I know about something happening, if I see something happening, it's my also responsibility to react to it.
And by the way, that we have also in the training that we're providing, there's a small section about how to interfere without escalating. So how to be an active bystander.
Yeah.
Perfect. But I'm also saying, like, by any person who is not trained, we are, I guess, maybe Stina is trained in it, maybe you, Laura, but most of us, we are not really trained. And Julian mentioned also that we pass the more critical situation to the people that are trained, but also before the critical happen, me as a person seeing something or hearing about something not right, I can also stand up for my for the conduct, for the rules that it's in my community, to be able to protect them.
Mo, just to get the quick word in here, I just want to make sure that we are aware and not limit ourselves to just this sexual abuse, because this topic here is covering several things outside of that, so that our examples and our remedies and all shouldn't be limiting to only sexual abuse. We are talking about violence, we are talking about harassment, we are talking about exclusion and all of these things. A safe haven. So we should try to not be limited by that.
That's as correct as you are leaking into the next topic, which we're going to be. So I'm gonna hold it there for a minute. I'm gonna go to Julian, then I'm gonna cut it off for a second. Julian.
Okay, I just want to ask Lara about her project, about the training, because I do believe that as teachers and organizers, we are unregulated. We are an unregulated movement, education, practice kind of thing everywhere that we go. And I think there has to be some level of regularity. I think we have to regulate this. And I think maybe, have you ever thought about maybe having the teachers do the training themselves and then having a certificate? And I'm going to ask this to Mo, because I know now, Mo, you're a promoter as well. And Magda, I'm not sure if you're a promoter, Billy as well. And anyone who's a promoter really out there. Would you be more willing to accept somebody that has training in this kind of situations, or has, for example, as Lara laid out the rules of engagement and some sort of like syllabus that a teacher should have? Whenever I'm going to teach children, for instance, it has to be CBR checked. I need to be checked by the police in order to know that I can pass this. Do you think that we as dance teachers should be able to do this something? And as a promoter, would you be more willing to hire somebody as opposed to the views and likes of a more popular dance teacher?
Julian, if I can say something, listen, the asking of the questions is my job. So now you
but I want to answer this. I do.
So listen, right, we have to stick to our roles, because
ain't nobody got time for that.
All right, don't be messing with Okay,
sorry, Mo. Sorry.
I'm gonna let Laura roll with this one. Go for it.
Yeah, Julian. So yeah, I have not thought about how big this can be. More than happy for it to grow up, obviously. But what we were thinking is that basically once you have all this material is branded. So hopefully we're hoping that anybody who starts using this material, at least attendees at events, will be seeing this same branding and will effectively recognize that this is an event where the organizer has been trained, therefore there is a support team, therefore there's a code of conduct, therefore there are these rules of engagement. And of course, if teachers want to do the training, they can also, say that they are branded. The reason why we're doing the training is that so people just don't take the branding and go with it, because you need to understand what you're doing before you just pretend that you have a system in place.
Yeah.
Good. So, like I said, we're going to have all this to be shared a little bit later on. We have so many comments. Oh my God, it's kicking off over there. And people are discussing and chatting to each other. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say, listen, if I don't catch your comment or your question, please don't feel left out. I will come back to it at some point. Or we've actually had a discussion about this prior to the show. Us in the panel and myself as adjudicators, we're going to go back and try to reply to as many people as possible after the show as well. So please don't feel like your comment is ignored. We're going to go back to that and the next section right after this commercial break as from our sponsors.
Ella es más rollo que película. No puede estar ni un minuto sin pensar. Se disgusta con tan solo una mirada, una ocasión, un motivo para hablar. Mireia se mortifica y se complica en su evolución.
Welcome back. Yes, as you saw, this discussion was made to be able to happen thanks to the Oslo Caribbean Feeling in Norway, which I've been attending since the start, and I can tell you it's been an amazing event, and I really enjoy it. I'm not. They've not. Plugging it constantly like this. It's me, because it was thanks to them that we were able to have this kind of discussion. So I hope more events and more organizers are on board to have something more like that. So actually, it's going on to the discussions now. It's flowed naturally. We discussed, rather than me kind of going, this is topic 1, this is topic 2, it's actually flowed comfortably and quite naturally between 3 different topics. I'm trying to kind of bring it back in so we can go on to the second part and how we can lead on to it. There's one part that we kind of didn't really touch on so much, which is going to lead us to the second topic on the first one. And someone mentioned this, and this is a regular question that I've heard before, saying, okay, this is not it's not always females are abused, the guys are getting abused and stuff like that. Now, for me, based on some of what I've been hearing and what I've been reading and the comments I've been going through, most of the time the last people that say this kind of comments are people who are trying to discourage or kind of put down the protests against female sexual abuse and so on. But it's a reality that there are a small percentage, because the percent is actually quite massively different. And that's why we do kind of focus our areas on sexual abuse against women. But normally this discussion is for male and female. Now, the next question is going to tackle that, because it's not just about the sexual abuse, it's about the boundaries of respect. Okay, so there's sometimes with a lot of the males as well, especially if they are in a position of influence, like an artist, a teacher, an MC, a DJ, and so on, where they have kind of boundaries to not to say no so much, or kind of like make a fuss in public. Their boundaries can be crossed because everybody knows it's okay, sort of thing. There's been a question that's been forwarded to me that I want to kind of like put it out there, quite a very specific example of stereotyping. In Europe, for example, stereotyping in Europe, some girls can look at some of the more, let's say, dark-skinned gentlemen who are good-looking male dancers, and this has all been very stereotypes, and then kind of grab them as a sex object, or it's okay to kind of treat them this way, or it's okay to grope them, or it's okay to talk to them in a certain way. Obviously, this is still counting as abuse, which is this is what's going to take us to the next thread of the question, because as Nee was saying, abuse doesn't just mean one thing. It has a lot of different, you're crossing my boundaries of my comfort zone, whether it's violence, whether it's rape, whether it's verbal abuse, where there's many different points of abuse where you're making me now, I don't want to be here. This is kind of counts as abuse. So this can be towards female as well as male. So I'm just going to just touch on that subject for a moment. And let me start off with Stina as our expert in dance and psychologist. So Stina, it's over to you.
Yes, it's possible both for female and male to feel, this is basics for all human beings, right? We all have our limits and comfort zones, which we should have respected. And this is very individual as well, which is very important, which I was mentioning earlier. And then I would like to bring up also the topic of why it can be hard to actually talk about this, because maybe we feel ashamed, or we are afraid of, like I was mentioning earlier, of being rejected from the social group if we mention something of this. Sorry, yeah, exactly, to be a party pooper, yeah. To be boring, or come on, I'm just playing around, or this. It's very easy to feel ashamed, and what we know about shame is how to counter shame. The best medicine towards against shame is actually openness, or bring it into the light, talk about it. So, and this is the responsibility for all of us to bring it out in the open and to discuss it, and to create a community where we can actually talk about this openly. So yeah, I think the fear of being rejected is quite important here, and we need to work against that different ways.
But I think a lot of the stuff that we've talked about already is I mean, I know we specifically mentioned sexual abuse, but it's not just about that, I mean, when we're saying to people to speak up for others, to be active bystanders, to interject, this is not just about if you're seeing somebody grabbing somebody's ass, if you see discrimination, if you see anything like that on the dance floor, the principle is the same. I mean, we each and every one of us shape our community, and we're not passengers. We should be active. We should be, we're part of this, and the only way that it's going to change it is if we set the tone. If we do not laugh, if we don't laugh at racist jokes, if we, if we call people out, and I think that a lot of the topics that we already touched on are relevant to, kicking people out for inappropriate behavior. It doesn't mean inappropriate behavior sexually. It means any inappropriate behavior. Requiring in a code of conduct that teachers, photographers, whoever, behave in a certain way. Again, that's not just about sexual abuse. I think that all of these concepts, the solutions are often overlapping, and it's just about defining, the line.
I just want to go to Val quickly, because I know we're talking about a different part of this where the line is, but you want to talk about there's only a few rotten apples. Let me take it there.
Yes, I think that we should look at this whole conversation or change of mindset as a top-down process and not so much bottom-up. We have now focused on what people, attendees of events can do, or how they can have their safe words and all these things, which are amazingly good ideas. But unfortunately, it happens a lot that we do have some rotten apples, as I called it, excuse the expression, in the organizers and artists group as well. And as long as that problem exists, it's really hard to change the rest and be that role model or communicate the idea of that whoever is a teacher, an organizer, a known person in the environment does the right thing and behaves in the correct way and in the way that everybody else should, also behave and adapt.
Okay, let me kind of expand on that and something a bit more controversial when it comes down to rotten apples. Yes, there are some rotten apples out there. However, okay, so now we know there is this X who's a rotten apple, and there are some alleged information about it, but there's too many alleged information, so we kind of know, and it's more things are coming to light. The question about today is how can we fight it? So let's say each and every one of you guys, some of you guys are organizers, some of you are not organizers, all right? So at the cost of your event, how can you say, okay, would you stop booking that person? Would you kind of shine the light on them? What would you do as an organizer to stop and make change to go forward? How can we kind of, obviously, because there's two parts. There's someone who's a social dancer, who's a predator. That's a lot easier to deal with because you say, okay, as Julian says, according to security, they're out the door. It's done. All right. So that's one thing easier. But what if the person is reputable? What if they're booked and paid for at your event? You've flown them over from across the world, and they're now there in accommodation at your venue, playing the decks or teaching the class or making the show, and they're part of your responsibility. And now you're hearing things that something's happened within your event. Or let's make it even more controversial. It's happened at other events. So you even haven't heard something at yours now. Would you kick them out and say, listen, I don't want you to work here right now? I see.
We should.
I see my brother over there who's nodding his head in the US. So I'm going to go to Billy for a second. You had a big nod over there, so I thought let me start with you.
Yeah. Well, we've canceled people for less, so we put our money where our mouth is on this one. So yeah, I mean, and again, we have a standard of credible firsthand accounts, which means if you trust us to share your story, we, as a matter of course, believe you, and I think that's important too. So yeah, if any type of, and of course there's levels. I mean, there's a difference between, say, inappropriate touching and maybe you said an inappropriate comment. If it's an inappropriate comment, we'll usually end up speaking to them. Like, look, this is inappropriate, happens again. Anything that goes above that, yeah, cancel. And we make it a point. We won't hire you, and I'm not going to put money into the pocket of organizers who do. I mean, to this day, there are people who are doing events, and I don't support them because they choose to hire. Now, again, our standard is people who've shared their accounts with us. So it has to go both ways, right? We have to be able to trust you. You have to be able to trust us. But if people share the stories, you got to believe them. And yeah, the truth is that most of the most notorious predators in our community are the people in positions of influence, are organizers or teachers, but especially organizers, because organizers have even more power in some aspects. So when you have that kind of thing happening, it has to be other organizers who are taking the stand against it. If that doesn't happen, it's much more difficult to clean it up. So yeah, that's something we've done for years now. Hasn't made us particularly popular, but it's made our community much safer because of that example. So yeah.
So you have control of your event and can say, I can decide. Well, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. But let's say, okay, because when I mentioned that comment, each and every one of you, without exception, just nodded your head, went, yep, I'm with you on this one. I agree. Great, we all agree. But what about the organizers who are booking somebody, saying, okay, so there's no proof on this one, we don't know, there's a lot of rumors, but they're bringing the people in or whatever, and they continue to book them? How can we change the scene to change that, to say, okay, listen, this I don't book him for my event, but this predator is still traveling, it's still working, it's still kind of communicating? Would you whistleblow, or would you boycott the event, or what would you do to make change for your own community to make this stop?
Well, can I talk from a perspective of somebody who doesn't have any executive power? Can I say it this way? Yes. I personally boycott events, 100%. And I also, when I see friends who I think have the same values that I do, going to an event that is known for, that is organized or, based on somebody who's a known predator, I will communicate this information very crudely and very clearly, and they can do whatever they want. But a couple of years ago, we got to a point where there was an event that was organized somewhere in the UK that was effectively bringing a predator in the country, and quite a few of us spoke up, and we were like, this is not happening. We are not. There was immense scandals about the whole situation not too long before, And we rallied each other, and this person did not come. The event did not happen. There was a case in another country where people effectively organized an event on the same night on purpose, saying, we are organizing this because we want you to dance, but we don't want you to dance where there is effectively a rapist, moving around. And I think that what we really need is for people to put their money where their mouth is, generally, but also, I mean, I don't know how this is going to sound, but I'm going to say it. I feel that, sometimes attendees may not know, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of people who work with these people day in and day out will know. So if I have a call to action is, as teachers, as artists, as photographers, have you ever and should you think about actually declining work because you don't want to work in the same place with predators? I mean, I know it's difficult because, it's your money. And I've had this conversation with a few teachers. Some of them have said, I don't want to have anything to do with them. I don't associate myself with them, but this is my return. I have to go to these events,
That's a very good question, and I'm bringing this to the panel and any artists, and I want to see some of the artists, teachers, DJs, photographers, and promoters who are in the chat right now, because I know there's a lot of you. I know, Rainer is actually one of our regulars who's listening to the chat right now. He says it's the responsibility of a promoter. He also earlier on said that as a photographer is like a ninja. The photographer, people don't see him. He's kind of blending into the dance floor. Sometimes you see that people don't kind of, when they're trying to be discreet, and he's quite happy to kind of like blow the whistle, no problem, because he's there and he's kind of keeping his eye out, which I respect you for doing that. But if it's one thing to say it's my event, I'm going to kick people out. It's one thing to say I'm going to boycott an event. But what if, you made a very good point. What if you're booked at an event where it's not the organizer, but they've paid for somebody who's a known predator or an alleged predator, who's at the event? Now you had a discussion with the other organizer of the event, and you said, listen, you got somebody on your lineup who's making people feel uncomfortable, and I don't support that. And the person, I'm being kind of controversial, kind of like giving a scenario. The promoter comes back and says, well, this is the first time I'm hearing about it, and I don't have proof that he's done anything wrong. Could it just be a rumor? I'm still booking this guy. Would you still be paid to go to this event, or would you lose money to go and earn to work at this event alongside a predator? And please, if you're in the chat, and if you're an artist, teacher, organizer, promoter, please give us your opinion on that. But I'm going to put this to the panel. Julian, please, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I've actually cancelled certain congresses because I do not agree with certain lineups, especially with bachata. When it comes to bachata, if I'm seeing a dance teacher bending over a 16, 17-year-old, like his dance partner in the middle of the class, and then saying to the whole class to thrust forward while she's there for at least a minute or two, I do not agree with this. I cancel every single event that I've had where my name was next to this person. I've also been very, very vocal in the sense that within my events, I had to cancel certain artists that want to come to London, and they send me their demos, some of them, and I do not agree that that's bachata. Not because it's not Dominican, not because it's nothing else, but it has no essence of bachata. And secondly, that's another topic. And secondly, we can be predators, or people can be predators with directly or indirectly. They might not know that their behavior as dance teachers might be influenced predatory behavior. I mean, there are certain bachata dancers that go down on one knee, pass the hand through the crotch, bring it back in, and this is not. What's the point of doing this kind of moves? Also, certain barriers of where you touching the certain person. Once you give these people an example of what you could do to a lady publicly, you are being an indirect predator, and I think that there needs to be a little bit more.
Sorry, Julian,
from organizers. Yeah, sorry.
I would like to interrupt you because you digress from the question I was asking. So we're all
Yes, ultimately, yes. I have basically done that.
I like what you said. So we're all going to move with you temporarily. I'm going to come back to the original question I asked afterwards. So let me stay with the one you just said, because earlier on in the comments, Pierre asked something which you're answering right now, and he says, "What about the etiquette of inappropriate moves as a teacher?" So, and this is happening a lot in a new form of dance, which is bachata sensual, because again, this is a there's other styles that have been around for a long time, and they've matured in time and changed to what's acceptable, it was not acceptable. But now this is kind of like a new style, which is still kind of coming through. And there's a lot, and I believe that's what he's talking about with moves, face touching the leg, valid lead maybe, and inappropriate partner behavior.
Slap on the forehead.
But even as you said, bending over and thrusting, which I know that you've watched someone teach that in the lesson and expected the whole class to go and join in and do that, bend somebody over and start thrusting. You saw that as a move being taught. Now let's go from the teacher's perspective as what's acceptable. Let's this is a question. What about the etiquette? Teaching the etiquette of what's an appropriate and inappropriate move to teach. So let's all go with you with that.
The thing is, we need to make as a community, we need to make promoters understand that the certain behavior that indirectly affects people directly, if you get what I mean. Like, for example, by you booking somebody and not really doing the background check into doing that just because of likes and views on videos and possible promotion.
What background check? Because you've mentioned this, Laura's mentioned this.
Yes.
Someone mentioned this in the comment. What background check? I'm an organizer right now. Okay, where do I check the background of you, Julian? How do I know that you're safe?
This is precisely
clearly when you book me, you know why you're booking me. You're booking me because I give a class in culture, history, dance, technique.
There's a new colony in Mars.
You're probably going to have trouble booking me then. If you haven't done that, I probably won't even reply.
There's a new colony right now being built in Mars. I'm one of the organizers for the first Martian Salsa Festival. I've been out there for 10 years. I don't know the new dancers. All I hear is that Julian is a good teacher. That's all I hear.
It's your job, Mo. As an organizer, it's your job to know. I mean, what are we like? If I know nothing about my job, I get freaking fired. What are we like? This is a job.
The reason I'm asking this question is if I'm working at a school with children, okay, I can check your history with the police. In order for you to, this is the rules for the UK. I don't know how it is for other countries, but in the UK, if you wish to go work with kids, you need to go get your a CBT check, CRB check, whatever it's called, in order for you to get the certificate to say I'm safe. I'm not a known predator. I'm not this and that, the other. And obviously your behavior could be different when you're there, but at least there's a legal check in the background. As an organizer of salsa, I don't know much about you, and there's no organization to kind of keep tabs on you. So when you say do a background check where? That's what I'm asking you.
So what I mean by this is like we are bringing bachata sensual, right? Bachata sensual from the world. Let's just be specific. Bachata sensual. But why are we bringing certain teachers? What teachers are we bringing? Are we bringing because we want the expansion of bachata sensual? Okay. Do we bring it because they're cheap? Do we bring it because the show is fantastic? Do we bring it because the people want them? And I think to book an artist is a combination of all of it. I hear that bad publicity travels faster than good publicity. Mm-hmm. So, when you're booking somebody, and whenever I booked anybody here in England, I've given them top prime spot. I had Ataka La Alemana, Daniel Ndeside, I had Corke and Judith, I had Tigre as well, but only them because I want to center all my promotion to that artist because they're bringing something completely different to the dancing. And I think that I will only work with this kind of promoters that do the due diligence to find out, one, who I am, two, why they're bringing me over, and three, I try to be like, okay, maybe we do it next year. If I find that there is a person that my dance teaching or my dance style does not allude, and I cannot promote an event where another non-predator or somebody that indirectly is changing the way we dance.
So
Very negative.
if I go to
if I
Nick,
could come
I
in.
know you guys want to talk a little bit.
Sorry.
I'm going to someone who answered my question more directly. Karen Sasson McGuire, she says that they have a barred list. So they have a list that they obtain from their own events. And these are the people that they barred, predators or people of known predators. They have a list that they cannot allow into their events as an artist or as a social dancer. My question is, should we have like an organizer's list, like backstage somewhere, that the organizers can have an access and go, okay, so I was going to book these guys, but they're on this list, therefore I'm not going to do that. That's what I'm talking about. Somewhere we can go and review something and share between us as organizers and go, okay, can we do something? I've got also Nikki. She mentioned something. There's so many comments. I'm trying to keep up with everything. She said an organizer needs to do the research, to go to events, watch and listen and hear. I'm with you on that one. I'm 100%. That's how we work. Absolutely. But there are some new organizers popping up, and sometimes you are from a different country, city, or whatever, that you haven't had a chance to work in the same environment as this particular artist. So I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm bringing scenarios that are not the obvious ones, if that makes sense to me. And you're saying the cost of a DBS check. I gave that example because it's a UK law. What if somebody's coming from outside the UK and so on? I'm trying to give kind of something which is outside of the realm of what we do normally. Sorry, Nee, you were saying something?
No, I just wanted to indicate that I think we have to just be a little bit careful here, because now, because we don't have any, for instance, organizations that keep tabs on these things, like you're saying, it's hard to do a proper background check. So a lot of times what we rely on are recommendations, people we know who've worked with these people and all of that. This is what the industry is about, because we don't have any regulation in this industry. It's I may shoot myself by saying it's $1 billion industry, but we have no regulation or for that matter in it. So we have to be a little bit circumspect. One of the things that I believe we can do is, for example, if Julian cancels an artiste based on something that has happened in his event or based on his investigations, for me, I believe all organizers should put this out there publicly and say that we are not going to hire this person for this event because we have done our investigation and we have come to this conclusion. Otherwise, one, there is no way for us to do any proper background check, because there are instances where people can give false information, and because of that, they are being destroyed. They are destroying other people's businesses or careers. I can agree with Billy when he says, once you have the courage to come and tell us, we will take the first step to believe your story first, of course. But there are also instances where these can be false information, of course. So the only way for us to be able to check this a little bit is when a recognized organizer has done his work well and said, okay, I've done my work well and I am not going to hire this person. I am canceling this event. I'm canceling this artiste, and I put it out there, put in my name on it. Then there's a source of reference. Everything on the internet right now is going to be there for a while, so that when I type in this person's name and this comes up, I can have some form of background check to go by it. But I want to dive to another angle.
Before you go on another angle, can I come in on this one?
This is not so far of an angle.
Okay.
It is still in in this in this side.
Let him go.
Yes, recently, in a few days ago, online, I saw a video of a very, very top bachata artist promoting online classes, and this and the intro for this class was bedroom bachata with some groping and kissing and all of that. My question is, for all of us who are here, are we going to support that? Are we going to speak out on that? Are we going to go to events that these people are on, or what are we going to do about it? It's easy to say, oh, we will not do this and do that, but when this is to a certain degree, a lot of us will close our eyes on it. This is the environment that it is, and I have seen this. I don't want to mention any names. If you've seen it, you know what I am talking about. If not, go and look for it. My question is, what are we going to do about it?
See, the thing is, just to go on, I'm going to go to Lara to kind of go on from the topic as we've taken. But just the final thing that you said, we have to look at it from, and now I'm speaking to you from my point of view, not as someone impartial. I'm giving you my point of view, and only because I know a specific scenario similar to yours. I'm not going to talk about the branding, but somebody had a sexualized branding of bachata that they created their own brand off of that. That for me was, in my opinion, was distasteful. And I knew this guy as a dancer before. I've never seen it. I've never seen him in such action. And then I looked at the same timetable I was teaching at, and then I saw him with this kind of distasteful name for bachata. And I came to approach and I'm like, yo, I think there's a misprint or something. There's something wrong because this can't be right. And he goes, oh, no. Yeah, it's my style of bachata. And what kind of style of bachata do you do this? And he's like, oh, no, well, a similar sexualized branding name worked for somebody else. I'm using it as a brand. It's like it's like a brand. It's like something to bring people through the door. And I was so upset by this because it was, first of all, making bad name for him as a dancer, for the venue, for the timetable, for the dance itself. I was so upset by this. I had to have some words with this guy, and till this day, I don't know if maybe it wasn't the only one. I don't know if it took effects from the words that I said, but I've never seen that brand reoccur since that one day on the timetable because I felt so emotionally upset by this. I had to speak out and say, "Come on, dude! Like that's not okay." As because people are going to walk away from the dance floor thinking that this is how bachata is, or this is like I've only done a couple of classes of bachata. I'm coming to you as a teacher. Teacher means you're an expert in this form of field. I want you to show me what to do, and you show me this, and with the name like this, you show me this is. You've ruined it for me, and I was so upset by this. So there was a change, and so there are things that obviously you can speak because we're talking about branding rather than action. Yes. And the repercussions of that branding.
No, and I totally just before Laura comes in, and I totally agree with you, Mo, because when I saw this, I was genuinely hurt because this couple or whatever are one of the top, and I admire them to some extent. And then I see this, and the sad part of it was the caption was, do you want to learn bachata? Join our online classes. So for people, and it is not even like a specialized class. This is general. Do you want to learn bachata? And then it starts with this. And what I was happy about was there were several people who were in the comments who said that, yes, we have admired you for several years, we blah, 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 but the intro to this video is totally wrong, and we do not agree with it. This is the kind of attitude that we need to have. If something is out there, no matter their standard or level or whatever it is, we need to live by our words. All of us here. And it will be interesting to see if any of us will make comments on that if we look for it. But this is my question here. What in instances like this should we directly say, okay, we are against this, we are not going to work with these people, or should we go and try to talk some sense into these people and say, hey, I don't think this is right?
Okay, so just to kind of go from the comments that we're talking about, Zoe Henry says she did the porno bachata, the one I was talking about, the one I had a few words with was not this. Yes, it was as a result from seeing this. But Pierre says it was a parody. It was like a parody class. It was actually quite funny.
Yeah, it was a parody class, yeah.
Rather than being, this is what bachata is, it was kind of making mock of that kind of movement. So this is, I didn't want to... Yeah,
we actually had we had him, Gabriel and Begonia. We had them here in London a few years before, and we actually asked him to change the name of that class to Tricks and Dips, because that's actually what it was. It was not sexual, but he would make it very parody-like, very kind of like overly funny sexual, which is more like, it was more funny than anything else, than rude or anything, and everybody was kind of like laughing. But then when he came down to London through Ritmo Latino, we actually asked him, as promoters, we actually ask him, could you please change the name of that class and maybe to this, and you can elaborate, have part 1, part 2, so it can be done, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to focus on this one because this is the one, this is not the one that I had the problem with. The one I had a problem with that was kind of offset from this one, and but I was just using it as an example. Val has something to add, so I missed out.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lara had a lot to add before, which I completely missed her out. Sorry, Lara. I will come to Val in a second.
Right. Yeah, a lot to add. Okay, so first of all, we need to be careful about sharing public lists on Facebook and saying I have banned this person because they are a rapist, because this is defamation, and that's not necessarily, unless you actually have the proof.
Yeah.
However, I also want to remind everybody that somebody does not need to be a convicted rapist for you to decide to ban them. You can decide not to go to a restaurant because the food is too spicy, not because you have decided to, because you've all gone to the hospital and been ill for 6 weeks. So
yeah, totally
it
agree.
is okay for people to share information between each other without branding other people as rapists. So the thing of, and this, I'm sorry, I know that I'm getting passionate about this because it drives me up the walls that people are effectively saying, unless you come and prove to me that this person is a predator, I can't do anything about it. Any person who tells me this needs to tell me exactly how I'm supposed to prove this to you. How do I prove this to you? Do I film? How, like, it is just, you do not need more than a couple of accounts, people leaving the scene, people leaving your event in a rush, people crying in a bathroom, people coming to you and trusting you and saying, I feel really uncomfortable, to decide that you don't need a person in your event. You do not need to make a whole thing of putting it on Facebook and saying this person is a rapist, because they may not be. They can still be a predator. They can still be a harmful individual. And you cannot necessarily prove this. And when people say prove this, they basically say, go to the police and get me a report. Like, you need to see the numbers of these things. Only 1.5% of rapes, and I am talking rapes, I'm not even talking abuse, I'm talking rapes. 1.5% of rapes that are reported actually get somewhere. 1.5% of rapes that are reported. These are not the rapes that happen, because only 1 in 10 rape gets reported. So just imagine what it means when it comes to abuse. Like how little it gets reported, and then how little it gets dealt with. Because when it's the law, when it's jail, yes, you need the burden of proof to be ironclad. And unless you have a CCTV in your fucking toilet, I'm sorry, you're not gonna get that. So we just need to act as a community and not as a police commissary, because I mean, otherwise there's no point having this discussion if at the end we're gonna say, oh, he touched your ass, please prove. How do you want me to prove that?
Can I go somewhere? I just want to go somewhere with this, because you said
that's amazing what you just said. That's those numbers are just incredible. Like, I didn't know it was so little.
It really.
Wow.
So let's go to two factors that you said. You said two very important things. One is you said that you can't just publicly open a list because it can defamation, etc., which I agree with you. But also you said that a lot of it can be ignored. Okay, so the question is now, and this is what there's a lot of chit chat on the chatter room right now, is what can we do about it? So are we talking about let's have some suggestions right now, because this is what I'm about on this debate. It's not about let's discuss what's happening. We know what's happening. Let's kind of bring awareness. We are aware. The question is what next? So suggestions of a list. Okay, the list we can't do. Suggestions of ban list to share with promoters.
You can still share information, and you can still say these are the people who don't come to my event because they do not comply with my values. It doesn't mean they're rapists.
With who?
Yeah, that's right. That's totally right. That's actually what I said. I think I looked by looking at a certain lineup. You go, I don't think I can be in the same room teaching against somebody that is teaching that thing, and I'm like teaching this. It's just. I think next year we'll do it. I think it's easy for us artists to hold the line.
Okay,
yeah,
but
and
where
maybe we should remember where we started. We started with the consent and the feeling of comfort. So I don't have to say that this person is a predator or is a I don't know, rapist or anything. It's enough. I will say this person makes my people in my community or myself uncomfortable, and it
Exactly.
doesn't respect the consent. It's
And that's
enough.
all you need.
Okay, but
But we need to have actually guts to speak it up and communicate with others about it, right?
we're spreading the net wide. So now let's say let's go to an extreme case. One of your dancers has reported rape or something along the lines of something quite a serious abuse that would break the law, something that would break your rules of conduct, even if it's not breaking the law and is not acceptable in your venue. Billy said we have, it's no excuses. You're straight banned. Karen on the chat said we have a ban list. Okay, but you're talking about your venue. How can we change our community? Because we're not talking about the the dance club community where it's too commercialized and it's too open, and they even have a system in each town. I know that London has, and all the clubs in central London in the West End, they talk and they have a list as they circulate. They have some kind of communication. We're a small community in comparison to all of this, right? So right now on the screen I have London, I have Norway, so I've got Stavanger, I've got Oslo, I've got USA. So we have a spread, and this is our small community. What can we do now? So I've got an event I'm running in October, for example, right? So I've got here's a plug, Dance UK Evolution. Come and check it out. But anyway, so I'm doing my event in October. I want to know who I should invite to my event. Okay, is there a list that we have? Is there an organization, or can we start one? Can we make one? Can we make something happen? Can we get the promoters together? Shall we say?
I thought the promoters already talk to each other, do they not?
We do, but not as much, because you have different levels of promoter. You have promoters that have congresses, and then you have promoters that have dance studios, and then you have promoters that have nightclubs. At least in the UK, you have that.
And a lot of them are talking because they are friends, or they've clashed in the past, or they're trying to work together. They're trying to not cross their dates. There is nothing so much in place like a communication center to say this is a pot of information that we can share. Okay, someone in the chat earlier on said, okay, you can't share negative stuff and say these are abusers or these are alleged, but we could share. Maybe we can have an organization go, these are safe people, these are good people, these are parts of the climb organization, for example. These are registered team members who are standing up against it, so we should book them more, for example. Should there be something? Val, you have something to add?
Yeah, no, it's almost a question, or
you're not allowed. Did you show? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, I kind of wish to have opinions on this, because also leading up to this second part of the debate, I've been racking my brain a lot about what can be done, and what can be done in a global size. Exactly what Mo has been mentioning right now. So I've been coming up with, just playing with ideas, kind of like create a trust pilot for dance events, whatnot. What would that be? Say, get into exchange with promoters, with organizers, with artists, with dancers, especially with attendees also, and getting opinions and getting opinions in, collecting it and publishing it in a way that it cannot be as bad as defamation, but it can be a guideline for people, or maybe a forum kind of thing to exchange. It's not elaborate, but it has been a thought of mine, has crossed my mind, and I would like to know what you think about that, if that's a possibility. Yeah,
Billy.
Yeah, we have a group called Kizomba Unity, my wife and I, and we actually do have a list. Well, because of the lockdown, in Texas, not really a lockdown; it's just free for all. But because of COVID, it has been kind of sparse. But yeah, basically, and this is what we do. In my previous life, I was a lawyer, so this is not legal advice. But that whole defamation thing is often used as a cop-out. It's used as a way to intimidate people from speaking out, right? If you're going to defame somebody, you have to present as fact something that is untrue, right? So what we do is we have a list, and I think we call it the predator friendly list. I don't remember what to call it. And basically it says, These are events that are organized by people that we believe to be dangerous predators based on what we believe to be credible firsthand accounts. So again, if you talk to us and share your story, you're going on that list if you're an organizer. If you're an organizer who hires someone who we believe to be a predator, you go on the list. In the beginning, I put just cities. Now I'm putting actual names. And as we open back up, I'm hoping people get it together, have a crisis of conscience or whatever, want to come through and do the right thing. If not, it's going to be a pretty full list. But this is based on firsthand accounts that we personally have received. And we do it that way because there has to be a trust thing, right? You have to be able to trust that we are speaking based on something that we know and not just random third-hand accounts, right? So that trust has to go both ways. So that's the way we've done it. We've put a couple events on the list in our Kizomba Unity group, and it works. It works. It pisses people off. I'm getting DMs, but people are listening, people are watching, and it does help. But you just can't go off and say people are rapists, but you can speak out, you can share your stories, and don't allow yourself to be intimidated by all this bad law, because no, you're not going to go to jail for saying that you believe somebody is a predator, because again, you can be a predator, as Laura said, and not be a rapist. Even if you believe someone to be a rapist, they can still be a predator. So be careful about this defamation thing. It annoys me because it's so often used to intimidate victims and survivors and to intimidate allies. And so
and the misconception about false accusations as if they are like a pandemic, when the numbers are just like, people need to check the numbers. False accusations are horrible, they exist, but the percentage of them is, at this point in time, with the backlash that somebody gets when they speak out, there is absolutely no benefit for anybody to bring this up, because you just live your experience 1,000,000 times over before somebody actually believes what you're saying. So there isn't any benefit for anyone to come forward in our. If we had a society that would actually react differently to these things, maybe we could have a discussion. But at the moment, false accusations, in my opinion, they're horrible when they are true, but they're a red herring. In terms of the real numbers of things, they are not the topic of the conversation.
Well, I think, Mo, did you get the picture?
So I actually got it from a couple of you here on the in the forum, and this is the. I'm going to share this on the screen right now. Here we go, and this is. It says this is the truth about false accusations, and you can see that there's the big brown area that covers most of it. That's the that's the actual rapist. The small section of brown right in the top right corner, that's the reported. The darker section are the ones that face trial. That small little tiny red corner are the ones that are being jailed, and the very, very tiny small percentage in the bottom right that says falsely accused. So that kind of gives you an idea of kind of like false accusations versus people who are actually jailed. And the major part of the brown section of the screen is everyone else who kind of got away with it, so to speak.
And that's not even sexual abuse, eh? That's rape. So that's like the actual end of the spectrum. We're not even talking this guy has grabbed my ass situation.
Okay, so let's start. Let's pledge it. No, let's pledge it now, because we can talk about this for years and years and years. But Nikki in the comments, is it Nikki or Karen? I think Karen has a list of people that she has banned in her club. I can add a number of people to this list. I think we can all add, and at least we get a list done of people that should not be attending congresses.
Besides
this is precisely what we need. We just need organizers to just post. These are people we are not going to work with. That's it. We don't need to brand them. We don't need to necessarily call them any names or anything. That is that. If then you want to invite somebody like that and you see something like this based on your research, you go to the organizer and say, hey, I have seen this person on the list. Can I get more information about it? From their perspective.
Besides having a list, you've also got big scary DJs like Cesar. He says he's got a few names. Believe me, you don't want to be on his list because
you want to be on his good books all the time.
he's the
So
softest.
so
No.
so Mo, as you can see, just on this little panel and the discussion that we've been having online, there is enough information out there for us to start having a change. People know, excuse me to say, the shit that is going down. People know what is going down. We just need to put our mouths where
No.
our head is, or our heads where our mouth is. I don't know what what the correct saying is.
Money,
but
money.
something.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this right now. I'm gonna put some pressure on because we've got some organizers on here. We've got some teachers on here. They're all talking about the same thing. I can't speak for the world, but we can at least start from the UK. Okay, so let me direct something to Lara, because Lara, you're one of the members of the Climb Against Sexual Abuse. All right, so would you be happy for you and your team to take a leading role in a point of contact for the organizers, so at least there's somewhere? Because I know that Karen says there is. Karen mentioned here, let me kind of go back to that comment, is blah blah blah. I can't find it. Here we go. She's part of an organization called UK Dance Promoters. The UK Dance Promoters is somewhere you can find other promoters in the UK, mostly discussing who's got which night of the week and so on, and so we can kind of mutually work together in a peaceful ways. It is a nice place for us to come together, but there's nothing in place for this kind of safe environment. Now, the reason I'm separating it is because when it comes down to organizers working together, unfortunately, there's a lot of ego clashing and miscommunication and all this sort of stuff. So there would be a place where we can put that aside, because when we're talking about, this is my date and this is your date and this is my event and this is your event, my promotion versus your promotion, that's one forum that we can leave to one side. But I would like to have somewhere different, that because we can all agree that this is not okay. So somewhere we can say this is not okay, and this is what we're going to do about it. And we need someone to kind of like take the reins and say, okay, so in order not to do, if we're going to have a list, we're going to have it here between the promoters. If we're going to do some call to action, let's have it here. Are you prepared, Lara, for you and your team to kind of take a leading role in this system? If we set something up for at least a UK organization, hopefully we can be an inspiration for other countries, and then we can hopefully put something together for the world as we go later on. Are you prepared to just do something like that? I know some.
Yeah, and we had actually started to set this up. We just need to be careful what we call it and what we put on it. But I'm happy to hold this in a place and share it with people who. The other thing, though, is that I really want to make sure that the people who have edit access to this list, even viewing access to this list, are actually people who are concerned about the cause. Because otherwise, what can happen is exactly what Billy said earlier, is that somebody gets hold of the list, puts it on Facebook, says, look what they have been doing, this is defamation, and scares everybody into acting. So
this is why
we're not doing this loop. So I just need to understand that the people who are going to be viewing and editing the list are actually committed and are not there to cause trouble and to do contrary.
This is why
action.
I propose, because the thing is, if we just come together, it's a bit of a free-for-all, and there's no kind of a governing body to kind of run things how they're going to be. That's why I always believe there should be some kind of leadership in this circumstance. Now, the reason, obviously, I'm picking on you, and I'm sorry to keep on doing that, is because obviously you're a spokesperson for an organization already, and you're not an organizer, so you don't have a pot, a money in the pot to kind of say you're unbiased. You're kind of like saying, listen, I'm a social dancer, but I'm part of this organization. I don't have any favoritism to anything. I can take a leading role in the situation. And you said that you're happy to, and you're already kind of making a start on this. The next step, and I'm still talking UK because this is what we have right now. I'm from the UK, you're from the UK, and we can make a first step immediately. Perhaps we can make prior to, we are in the UK opening up on the 21st of June this year, so we can start to have the events coming back in. Prior to that, what if we have some organized Zoom meeting and invite everyone who's organizing a school or an event, and to kind of come in and have a conversation and make a pledge and make some kind of on an agreement to say, listen, whatever the discussion is a private discussion as members of the organization, and if we don't abide by these boundaries, you're no longer invited to, because now we can say that you are not taking responsibility into what's going on. So we can have some kind of an agreement, we can have some discussion, what's okay, what's not okay, and how we can step forward in a private Zoom discussion, and we can actually come together as a team to make change in one space already, and as a pilot program. If this is successful and is working well, we can have it as an example, and maybe we can have something similar, because we have the Norwegian team on the screen with me as well. Maybe we can have a representative in Norway to kind of start something like this as well. So at least there is some action coming forward, rather than saying this is not okay, let's review this and come back and have another a live chat again in 6 months' time, because that doesn't actually make someone feel comfortable in the venue. The predators are still predators. The people who are being booked are still being booked. I'm trying to make something so we can actually have a directional forward action, so we can make a change, rather than I'm going to do my venue, you do your venue, and let's wish for the best in the future of the scene. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Of course, and I think what we can do is link this to the training, because once again, I think that there is a minimal training about understanding consent, understanding how to deal with disclosure, and understanding how to interject. And I think that this is all very important stuff that every organizer who is wanting to pledge needs to know. So I think that instead of having Zoom discussions, I think we should start with a Zoom training.
Yeah,
exactly.
You've already started with a group like this, talking about this, which is a good thing that you started. I want to take it further to actually, whether you're going to start with training, a conduct law that we can share, maybe some list, maybe something, so we can make an action and actually invite all the promoters, so everybody's involved, rather than a small handful of people. So literally, whether whether I get on with the other promoter or not, everybody's involved, and we can all kind of come together and make some action to make the scene change forward. Okay, before I move on to the next discussion, does anybody else want to add to this at all?
I just want to interject a little bit and say that all of this is very good and well, but what it also requires is continuity. How are we going to maintain it? How are we going to ensure that this continues, not just the start, but it will continue further? The training will continue with others who are not involved at the moment. A year or two down the line, we will have made progress, and such that it's not dependent on one or two people who, if for some reason or the other are not able to continue the work, then all of this effort is stopped. So we have to think about that aspect as well. Continuity of any initiative that is begun. How do we keep it alive for 10 years to come?
Before I go to Val, I want to add to that. Yes, this is a good idea. Iris Britta here says maybe perhaps a monthly peer-to-peer discussion and training about consent and understanding what it means would help promoters. This is another good idea. Yes, longevity of this is important. The thing is, though, and not going against anything that you said, because I completely 100% agree with you, Lee. My qualm is that right now not much is happening. There's a lot of discussing it. There's a lot of awareness. There's a lot of, but we're not actually making action. Val, can I go to that?
Yeah, I was going to say that exact thing. It's something that we first have to establish instead of thinking of so much stuff coming later. First, we have to make it happen, and then we can think about how to develop it and how to make it grow and how to keep it alive. And I think I've been loving the ideas that you were talking about. We should, I don't know, form a group, have representatives of different countries. I would love to be one of them, by the way. I'm living for this topic. It's so important to me. I think that's an incredible first step. Maybe we can even include meetups with those people involved, have like, when the corona stuff is over, some kind of, training within ourselves, and then train others, build
that's
something.
the type of stuff that's the type of direction that we're hoping this will go, because obviously I cannot deliver training for everybody around the globe on this. But so we're hoping to basically get to a point where we can do the trainer sessions and become more wide ranging and global. But
Guys,
Yeah.
guys, would you like to start something now? I mean,
that's what
we've all spoken about a group. We've all spoken that we need to get together. Well, we got America, Europe, we got Africa in the house. But why don't we just start it now? If you want.
Here's what I'm thinking, because obviously eventually you are talking about trading, and I completely 100% agree with that. And I know that, Laura, we're asking you to to commit your time and your team. You need to make action that is not on you. I understand that, but what I want is, because obviously someone who's in the foreground is to just make the start. Once we make the start, and we have some trained officials as part of this team, is to eventually, maybe the organizers, if we're going to have, say, there's 50 organizers I'm just picking a number from the air, 50 organizers in the UK, all right, and I'm one of them. I'm happy to put into a pot, so we have like a dipping pot where maybe we can book somebody qualified for this, or somebody who's qualified for that, to give lectures and seminars and training, and to do whatever and make the right changes. I'm committed to take part of this. The reason I'm saying this is because I don't want us to walk away from this discussion to say, here's another discussion. What I want is for some action to happen. So at the end of it, and I know we only have 3 countries on the screen right now, but at least if we start with 1 or 2 or 3 countries and make some action right now, we can be an example for the world that action is happening. And hopefully, under the management of maybe say Climb as an example, or whatever organization you decide to call it, it can actually end up being a worldwide organization that can impartially help to kind of make a change and make some grounds for us to move it forward. I'm gonna go on Julian before I go to.
Okay, so I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to do it right now, and I mean, we can just call it the dance scene against sexual abuse and harassment.
Can I? Sorry,
I don't want to. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want to add just names of people. You shouldn't dance with this guy. You shouldn't book this guy. No. It's just like little things that we can add in order to advise our dancing, in order to do safe practices going forward from this meeting. Because I don't want to come out of here and just go to sleep, read my book, wake up in the morning, do my radio show, and then nothing's been done about it.
Exactly.
Go on, Lara. Sorry, Lara.
No, I am loving the enthusiasm, and I think it's absolutely great. The one thing, though, is that the reason why this has taken long is because this is serious stuff. Like it's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to have an actual document that is relevant. It's another thing to. It took like the small group that we worked with. A lot of them are actually organizers. And it took 12 weeks of weekly 1-2 hours discussion, a lot of them who came up with this idea, were saying, we have learned so much just talking about it. So having the intention to do something is necessary, but it's not sufficient. This is why I am saying that I think the first step should be that we have already been working on that training with branding and all the material. And I think the first step should be sign up for that thing.
So where can we sign up?
Okay, we will launch shortly.
Oh no, but what I mean is this. Look, we're all here together. People clearly are watching and want to get involved. Clearly, you are you're the professional in this and the leading figure, because I don't really know anybody else in the dancing that is so willing and so passionate about doing this. So if we can literally just sign up and say dancing against, you call it whatever you want.
You already have a name too.
Okay, so you can have the name. I mean, it's only to bring people towards it. So
I get it.
I mean, if I can share that picture, I mean, I did not know that. I mean, I heard it somewhere in my mind. It was there, but I never knew. I never seen a picture like that has impact.
You should like our page. We have an FAQ section where this is just one of them, and we have a lot of
the page and we can send people there.
Sorry, what's the name of the page, please?
Yes, please.
Crime Against Sexual Abuse. That's what it's called, and we have one of the campaigns that we ran is Zero Tolerance campaign, and it had to do with the dancing only. And after this, we developed a number of frequently asked questions that basically, a lot of things that people repeat and talk about. One of them is what is consent, and and I think just reading these FAQs will get you a long way in understanding the issues a little bit more. And one of them is actually that on false accusation, which is the picture that you showed earlier, with some text explaining stuff. But there's a lot. I mean, if people already want to do things, go on this page, read all the FAQs, and this is already a lot of thinking for you to do in terms of taking a step back and understanding whether you already, as an individual, have caused harm unintentionally. And I think most of us actually have. Again, unintentionally.
While I've got you here, let me go quickly to answer one of the questions from Iris Tibiris. She says, question to all, how and who will be in charge of making the discussion between false, true issues, to differentiate between misunderstandings and true accusations, offensive behavior that crosses the line? Now, I don't want to speak on behalf of everybody. I'm just going to speak to you from my understanding of the situation so far. This is because I was the one who proposed to you to make the action right now. Is I'm saying that we everybody is everybody, but we should have somebody who is trained and experienced in this line of work. So I'm proposing someone like, for example, who is running a campaign like sexual abuse, like Lara, for example, to have a psychologist onto it, maybe someone like Stina, to maybe have someone from
we need lawyers.
I was about to say lawyer, someone from the law, whether it's law, police, and such.
What else you need?
That it can, because all these people are available.
3 lawyers here. I got a crime lawyer. I got an immigration lawyer.
All these people are available within the dance industry. And the thing is, of course, the first step, 100%, I'm 100% with you, is training the organizers how to deal with it, training the teachers, and just going to what Kaylee was saying, it's not just about the big congresses, it's also local teachers who were self-taught and started by themselves, training those as well. So I'm not targeting a big festival, a big event, a big party, a big club. I'm talking about anybody who wants to take a responsibility of a group of people and say, this is my space. I'm in charge of this space. You now have a responsibility of people, of educating them, of keeping their safeguard and so on. And that's why I'm proposing that we kind of get a group of people together. And the reason I'm so forward on action is because there's been so much discussion. There's been, and I love the idea of discussion, because as someone says, discussion, the more that we have discussion, I think Mel said that, the more that there's discussion, the more it becomes less taboo to talk about it, which is the next topic I'm going to talk about in a second. And that's amazing. Yes, I'm all for that. But we spent many years of raise awareness. I mean, the word, what was the word that was a trend for a while? Woke. Everyone was woke. That was like a trend word. People who were not woke were just saying, I'm woke. It's and I'm bored of people kind of using it as a trend of things to say, but action to commit is a lot far behind. I'm gonna go, and I'm sorry to cut everyone off. I'm gonna go for a few words from Stina, and then we're gonna go to a little advert break and go to the next section and final section of our discussion, because we're actually way over, about an hour over the discussion, and I'm so grateful and thankful for everybody. Over 100 people being steadily watching without dropping this whole discussion, because it has been intense and it has been so powerful. Stina, and the reason I keep coming back to you on this topic is because you are our qualified professional as a psychologist, that you can have a few words to add to this. And what do you think about what we've been talking about with regards to getting this off the ground immediately?
Yes, I think I think there are many perspectives here, and it's amazing to hear the enthusiasm and the eagerness to start acting, because definitely something has to be done and there has to be act. But I really follow also Lara's point of view that we need to do it carefully and thoroughly and wisely, and with training and with the proper grounds set. So I think that's mainly my point on this, that we need both the energy and the drive forward, definitely, but we need to gather all the knowledge and the information along the way and do it wisely as well.
Talking about doing it wisely, It is, and I'm glad that she's in the discussion. I've known her for many years. A very wise woman who's got a lot of experience from the salsa industry, and one of the very first people who had their foot of bringing the kizomba industry to the UK. She says, "Look, safe practice guidelines are in a dance already exist." This has been for a long time already. Companies that train simply on consent do not take into consideration the nuance of dance culture. And by generalizing, you fall into the danger of discrimination against, again, the Black and Latin culture. This is why I'm saying, and this is one of the reasons why I'm stepping this forward. I'm not talking about general dance, because somebody else going to put in and said about there's other scenes like the hip hop scene and so on. I'm not talking about general dance and all dance. I'm talking about the SBK scene, because we are SBK dancers, salsa, bachata, kizomba, and we are here right now. Okay, and we know each other. It's not a far-fetched community. Everybody knows everybody. Every organizer in the UK is going to know every other organizer, even if it's by name or by face. It's not going to be somebody that you don't know, and we're going to be mostly Facebook friends. If we have some kind of training to take into consideration discrimination, take into consideration fairness, with proper training, with proper understanding, with proper guidance from those who have experience as part of the organization of crime, as part of the psychology team, part of the law team, give us guidance on how to take part into try to bring change into our community. Hopefully we can be an example and grow that into different parts of the world. Billy is already out in Houston, Texas, and he's starting from homegrown, and he says in his own words on several occasions during the show today that sometimes it doesn't make him popular, but at least at the end of the day, they can sleep well at night, that people are comfortable in his venue, that they're making action. Let's make action, not only in my training. I took training with this dance organization, and therefore I'm going to apply it to my class. No, I want to apply it to the city. So when my dancers, my students that learn in my class, they go across town to go to, say, Julian's class or Osbana's class or Edith's class, they're going to have that same safety which we grew up with in the dance industry, as opposed to the lights that's coming now. Before I change the discussion, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to give a few words to our sponsors for this show. I like to do it officially. Ladies, this was officially to us by Oslo Caribbean Feed.
Ella es más rollo que película. No puede estar ni un minuto sin pensar. Se disgusta con tan solo una mirada, una ocasión, un motivo para hablar. Mira, ella se mortifica y se complica en su evolución.
Okie dokie, welcome back. We've touched on a lot of topics. Actually, we've blended all through the first two. We haven't got through the first two topics. We're going to be coming to an end because actually this was supposed to be a 90-minute discussion, but an hour over. We knew it could happen. Believe it or not, I'm supposed to be teaching a private class in about 30 minutes, but so I'm going to put everything on hold for a moment so we can get this done.
I hope you're going to mention consent in your private class, Mo.
Listen, I'm going to stand up as an example for the way I teach, and I trained a lot of teachers in the past 20 years that I've been teaching, including my event, which I'm going to be doing later on as well. What I normally teach is beyond just consent. I like to teach, and I hope the other teachers teach as well, making your partner feel comfortable to want to dance with you. So this is something that people, they look at me funny, and the thing is, I have the training to say this because I'm a speaker, so I can bring it in a way that doesn't make the whole room feel uncomfortable. I can say, listen, it's not about sometimes as a leader touching your partner in the obvious inappropriate sexual places, the boobs, the bum, and so on. Sometimes, and I'm not talking about sexually, sometimes, I'm going to have a dance partner who's looking great, who's looking slim, but it still makes her feel uncomfortable when I'm touching her waistline to lead with. So I don't want to, I want to sometimes teach the guys how to place their hands when they're leading the partner, because it's a contact sport, to make them feel comfortable and ease so they can dance with you freely, as opposed to dance with you with tension. And this is one of the things I teach my guys. I teach the ladies how to to be aware of, you know, the bad apples, should we say, when they're dancing with the bad apples. I make them feel comfortable to talk to me and my dance team, and that's why I think a lot of people feel comfortable to kind of step forward. I've been having messages during this debate right now about places, people that, you know, that shouldn't be coming to our classes and stuff, which I'm taking note of, and we're making action on it right now digitally as we speak. So yes, of course, I encourage this, whether it's a private lesson or a group lesson, all the time, and people who've been in my classes can account to that. And I'm hoping that other teachers will do the same. Okay, the next question I want to kind of bring to the topic, and not everyone agrees with me on this one, but I did actually spend a lot of time looking into this. Now, just like Stina, outside of the dance as well, I'm also a psychologist and I'm a coach, and I've spent a lot of time with a lot of people in the last 12 months, coaching, training, and speaking on different issues, as well as having different broadcasts where it gives me a platform to have a chat with people and see how they feel about things, whether it's in a comical way, whether it's in a serious way. And over the last 12 months, there's been a lot going on with the not just the dance industry, but in news, with sexual abuse, with Black Lives Matter movement, with a lot of things that kind of brought a lot of feelings to the surface and made us more aware of things that are happening in our industry. But one of the topics that I've been discussing with a lot of people is being locked away from our local environment. Okay, so when I say that, is for some people, and it's not for everybody, for some people, they spend a lot of time going to work, going home, going to work, going home. They have very minimal human contact with a lot of other people. Dance, and I'm not talking about just sexually, I'm talking about dance as a whole, gives us the ability to make contact, physical contact, emotional contact, mental contact with a lot of people in a very short space of time. And we got used to that. So you take that away from people and you lock them in a room. Some people, I know Billy's got kids and he's got a family and stuff. Me too. We have that privilege that kind of, it gives us, I mean, the kids sometimes make you insane, but also gives you sanity of you have human contact, you have human communication. But a lot of people, they come back from work and they're told to now work from home. So the only form of contact, which was work and dance, has been removed, and they're sitting between four walls. And through conversations with other people and other friends, the emotions have kind of heightened. There's a big sexual tension is going to be building up between different people. This kind of scene is being set up as we step into the new environment. Now, when this happens, I see this is now not fact. This is my prediction in the way I see things personally, from the judgment of what I've been reading into and looking. There's going to be, as we come back onto the dance floor, there's going to be a big sexual tension of people, because immediately you come back into this overload of immediate contact with a lot of people when you've been frustrated, locked away from people. For some people, and for some people, anxiety, because obviously you've now been locked away from a lot of people for a long time, and immediately too many people in your face instantly, so that you can have that kind of anxiety of too much contact. Saying that, there's going to be some boundaries that we need to look into, because some boundaries are going to be crossed of miscommunication, of maybe a new platform for predators to come through when they see that everybody on the dance floor is, you know, suddenly that is very sexually heightened, and they want to play and they want to dance and they want to have a lot of contact. But that's as far as they want to take it. They don't necessarily want to take it to the bedroom. They just want to have that intimate dance of bachata, kizomba, salsa, lots of hugging, lots of kissing, lots of touching. We're okay with this because this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted, but I didn't want to go to the bedroom with you. So there's more intense than it was before, but now the boundary is a bit more gray, which is going to give a bit more platform for those predators who are coming in looking a little bit hungry, if I should say. So this is my question now. Post-COVID abuse, trying to prevent that, trying to enlighten ourselves, trying to not get into a situation where we go, okay, so we've got lockdown, people came out and this happened. I'm looking at it ahead of time and saying, okay, so what could happen, so we can maybe make some prevention. I see Billy's intention wants to say a lot, so I'm going to go straight to Billy straight away.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably guess what I'm going to say. If you're feeling a lot of sexual tension, you got one. God willing, you have two. Okay. If you don't feel like you can control yourself, handle your business. Handle your business, male or female, right? Personal responsibility, right? Take the edge off. No excuse. That's number one. Yes, people. Now, as far as the other part, the touching and stuff like that, being close, that's true. And I mean, in our classes, we often would have, especially beginners, we just have them hug. Well, I teach Kizomba, which is a hugging dance, so you have to get comfortable hugging. So a big part of what we teach is how to be comfortable being that close to another human and enjoy the pleasure of physical touch without it being sexual. That's a big part of what we teach, especially in the first few months, because if you can't hug somebody without it being sexual, it's going to be hard to really dance Kizomba. So if for me, I'd have a lot of hugging in classes in the beginning, at least in the beginning. Consent, respectful hugging, just to get that out, not going absolutely nuts. That's personally what I would do. But bottom line, I don't care how long you've been by yourself. Take the edge off and control yourself. I personally am not going to give you a pass for being disrespectful because of that, right? We're all adults and we can control ourselves, right? Handle your business.
Yeah, Mo, there's a thing about
handle your business. Sorry,
culture. There is no aspect in Latin American culture that should make another human feel uncomfortable. So if you are feeling uncomfortable, then that's not down to the culture. That's not down to the dance. That's down because of the humans. This is also we have to understand. It's not just because in Colombia we do it like this, in Cuba we do it like this, in Puerto Rico we do it like no. That I vouch for the Latin American culture, and that's not part of the dance. People use it to take advantage, but that is not part of the culture, and so that should not be confused.
I'm glad you spoke about culture. However, to kind of just go to both Billy and Julian's responses, actually you took away the wrong thing from my message, which maybe I didn't explain it so well. Okay, so I'm not talking about diving in with abuse straight away. Let's talk about. Okay, so there's when I say tension, there is a lot of tension anyway. So we come to the dance floor and it's not just sexual tension of I want to touch a lot of people. Okay, so we come in and everybody is automatic now. Not everybody. Some people are a lot more touchy than they were before. Some people are the opposite because of this kind of lockdown. They want to have this intimate communication, which there's nothing wrong with that, but that's as far as they want to take it. They literally. I see Billy, and he's my boy. Let's say either I'm gay or a girl, and I see him. I'm like, oh man, he's so sexy. I want to hug you. I want to squeeze you. I want to dance with you. And my hands are, not in an abusive way, but very kind of touchy. And I want to get very close with him. Pretty much. Now, Billy, I'm using Billy as an example. He's not the guy I'm talking about, but Billy sees this as a welcome opening door, But that's all I want to do with Billy. I just want to have this intimate contact with him, and then high five at the end of the night. I want to go home, right?
That's it.
But that's it for me. You didn't take me for dinner, what I'm saying. But that's all I want to do. But he sees this as kind of like an open door, an open welcome, an open invitation. And Billy's one of those kind of like the guys that we're watching out for. So now it's more. It can be more in on the dance floor than it has been prior to lockdown. This is one scenario. The other scenario is the person who's completely opposite. Because they've been away from human contact for so long, they feel anxiety. So somebody else is coming towards them in the normal way as it was prior. They just want to give them a hug. Good to see you again. High five. But they're not used to all this physical contact, and they're feeling uncomfortable, almost want to run out of the room. So this is the two sides I want to kind of tackle that could be post-COVID situation. Magda.
So maybe it's the perfect timing to introduce all the things that we've been just talking for 2.5 hours.
Exactly. Let's do it now. Yeah,
Laura, sorry. And so, Laura, for you, I feel sorry because we are all hoping that pandemic is going to be over very soon. So you don't have much time, really, but you have our total support.
Yes.
So reach out to us for any support and for if you need any action from our side on the global, because of course I believe that all of us are already acting, or they will even act more locally in our communities. But on the global spectrum, of course, we need somebody who can run this project, and you really seem to all of us the right person to do it. So that's why I'm reaching to you for the
No pressure.
But I see it's the absolutely perfect timing to make this happen.
Yeah, I think we came to a point where our neurological impulses and neurochemical impulses are gonna go crazy. They're gonna go crazy, and it's up to the people, the pillars of the community, to be able to balance the vibrational frequencies that come with the release of neurochemicals that happen in our bodies. If we're able to manage that, we'll have a healthy Latin American scene and an African scene and all sorts. But we need to be able to understand what's going through the process of each and every single individual, and understand that we, as pillars of community, are able to guide them into how we want them to be. You know,
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we are. This is a very big, a good opportunity for us to. It's kind of like a reboot of the whole system, because now all of us have experienced what it can be like to be without dance or to be without a social environment for for at least a year now. So once we begin to open up again, this reboot, we can use it properly and wisely, where we can be able to stamp our feet and make points much more clear. If you want to survive in this environment that we are bringing up again, then these are some of the things that you need to do. Otherwise, we are very happy to let you go. And you know how it feels like when you cannot be part of this environment. People have it now, so they know what it will be like to be missing out. So we have the possibility to use it for good. So this is the time to be devising our strategies, putting up probably more signs and doing the trainings and preparing for when we open up again. Because like Mo is saying, yes, our senses are heightened. We will want it more. I will want to hug as many people as I can. I do it already in the normal setting. I probably hug way too much, but at least we can do that, like Billy's saying, whilst knowing the limits, and we can use it to show other people that yes, you can hug as many people as you want, even if you know them or not. But if you're able to respect them and know the limits, they will allow you into their safe space as well, which is all that we want, people to allow us into their safe space. And that's it.
Trust.
So long as we can respect it.
Okay. I'm going to have to end it now because we're touching on almost 3 hours, which is double the amount of time that we've had to go for this. Here's how I'm going to close this. And I want it to be really brief. Super brief, please. I'm gonna just go to each of you guys, and I just want you to just like align something that you want to share with the people, whether it's gonna be about respect and sexual abuse behavior, or just a message that you want to give people that they've been on lockdown for so long, as from you, from your company, your organization. Just a few words. I'm going to start off. Let me see who's been. Magda's been a bit quiet. I'm going to start off with this one, and after this, we're going to be closing now. So Magda, go for it.
Okay. So I will be very short. I want to encourage anybody to stand up where you believe it's right. Stand up actively. So speak up and encourage other people to speak up for what you think is right and for what you think will make our community safe for all of us, not only newcomers, but for all of us. So I encourage everybody.
Thank you very much. I'm going to go to Nee right now, or in Stavanger. Remember, keep it short. We got to go.
Yes. Just quickly, find somebody that you would not want to disappoint. And the next time you want to do something, just weigh it with that person. And if you think you will disappoint that person, don't do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All the way in the USA, Billy in the house. Billy, it's over to you, sir.
Okay. Well, COVID pretty crappy for a lot of reasons, but one of the silver linings is that it's disconnected a lot of us from our kind of routines as far as dance goes. It's a perfect opportunity for us to think about the kind of communities that we want to be a part of, and also think about the things like we've spoken about here that we can do to help facilitate that kind of community. So if you want to be a part of a community that where people are held accountable and respectful, then all of us can be a part of that. So please do so. And when we get back and it's safe, let's go back to a community that's safe for everybody. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir. I'm going to take it over to Val back in Norway. Val, over to you, Oslo.
What can I say? I think it's important to treat others the way you want to be treated, and it's just important to keep that in mind. We live from each other. The dance community lives from each and every one of us. We have to create the beautiful place that we want to be in, and we all play a major role. If we don't respect that role, and all the other, because every person has multiple roles, if we don't respect all those roles, then we cannot create the space that we long for. So I think that's what I want to say.
Awesome. Come back to the UK, part of Ritmo Latino, Julie, Mr. M.
Oh, wow, dang. Okay, hello, guys. This year has taught us to create a very individualistic experience because we're forced into lockdown. And once we reopen, remember that the most beautiful part about dancing is that it's a shared experience. And when you share that experience with somebody, it maximizes all of the effects and all of the good will. So make sure that whatever experience you're having is a wonderful experience, and have a shared experience together.
Yes, senor. And I'm going to close up the last two parts. First of all, I'm going to go to Lara, who's an amazing dancer, but also one of the lead members of Climb Against Sexual Abuse.
Yes, thanks. Thank you all really for this conversation. Thank you for so many comments. And I guess if I have one request before we open, read up on things. You know, if this is something that that is close to your heart, just read up on it. To try to actually know really what the various layers are when it comes to discrimination generally, abuse particularly, and sexual abuse even more particularly. And I think there's a lot that we can learn just by being interested in doing some reading, and then hopefully there will be training. There's also another webinar on this topic that Berlin Salsa Congress is hosting in July. So continue the discussion there. If you want to have a conversation with me about your experiences, be in touch. If you have ideas, let me know, and see you all on the dance floor hopefully soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. And last but not least, Stina, who's runs a school, great teacher and performer, and also a qualified psychologist, and that's why she's on the two aspects of her life experiences was invited onto this panel. Last words before I take over is over to you, Stina.
Yes, that will be really brief. Thank you so much from me as well for being part of this. This is really inspiring, and it's so great to see that we can actually come out with some concrete solutions. I just want to mention a couple of words, because I talk to so many people these days that are feeling low, isolated. We are living in such an extraordinary situation now, and we're kind of, all of us, we're suffering from a collective light depression, or to some extent. And I just want to normalize that it's okay to feel low now, and that we are all being deprived of some basic needs that we all have. And once things are opening up again, like Mo was, like you were mentioning, there might be different reactions to that. Some of us might jump around and be really happy and connect, and others might feel more anxious, and both are normal reactions. And so it's just, we have to give ourselves some space and allowance to feel that these have been hard times, but we will slowly recover and get back together again. So yeah, thank you so much again for doing this.
Thank you very much, Stina. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna drop in the last kind of thank yous and goodbyes from our sponsors for this show. This has been started off at the Oslo Caribbean Feeling, and they continue to sponsor this debate to kind of keep us coming together and have much of a discussion. And that has been organized by from Norway, and that's why we have such a strong Norwegian collection. Reidun and George. Hello, Reidun and George.
Hi.
How you
Can you
doing?
hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. I just want to say quickly that I'm amazed of all the. No, don't put me on Trump like that, please. I'm so amazed of the engagement and all the comments I've been reading. Really, really great comments from a lot of people, and it's amazing to see how many people want something to happen around this, and I feel very inspired. I want to do something more, and I think a lot of us want to. And also, Mo, you keep saying sponsors. I think more we want to be like initiators of this because we think this topic has been so important and we've wanted to do this for a long time. And I'm so happy that we did this in October the first time and we're able to continue it now. So we just started something important.
In that case, I'm going to go to another initiator. And I said, George.
Enablers of change.
Good.
Thank you.
Does this mean we have part 3?
Okay.
George's sound.
No, he's gone.
His sound is broken, but I'm sure he's got a lot to say anyway. But this is bringing us now. We've officially reached 3 hours as Cesar was keeping track of the minutes, how many minutes we had until we hit 3 hours. So that brings us to 3 hours. I'm going to close up this discussion to say this, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining our chat. There's been over 100 of you consistently watching this without stopping, which is amazing. There's been hundreds and hundreds of comments right now in the chat, which is absolutely staggering. And we're going to try to go back and go through it as much as we can. There will be some information that will be posted on the Awesome Caribbean Feeling page where this is being transmitted, as well as my wall and so on. So you can find the information that you need to find, whether it's going to be about change, whether it's going to be about climb against sexual abuse, or anything else that we can find. Please go to the page that's available as well for Climb Against Sexual Abuse, so we can continue to support this and make it a better thing. The final thing I want to close up with, beyond everything else that we're discussing, beyond abuse, beyond making a change. Yes, this is my thing with regards to whatever you believe in, whatever you find difficulty. We are human beings, and maybe we're not making a mistake, maybe we're not doing something wrong. However, by not speaking out against the wrongness of things that are going on, that you are just being as bad as the person who, well, not as bad, but almost as bad as the person who committed the crime of the abuse in the first place. If we see something, and it's the message that goes throughout the world to everybody, see something, say something. This is how we can bring change, whether it's going to be sexual abuse, whether it's going to be other things that you stand up for. If you want to see change, make action. The time of awareness is gone, and now is the time of making a difference in the world and creating something. And the first step that I wish for you guys to take is the step of love and sharing. So please share kindness, share love, and that's the first step that we can make a difference. And this is a message which I always discuss on all of my shows. I believe that to make a change in the world, I can control a bubble. This is my bubble, my space. Whether I'm reaching you face to face over the phone or during the broadcast, this is my bubble. So I want to make my bubble as positive as possible, full of goodness, full of change, full of interaction, full of making the world a better place. And hopefully for everyone is my bubble has touched, is going to give you the same, is going to give you the same change, the same positive energy, the same happiness to want to share that with other people, and so on. And if that bubble keeps on traveling so many times around the world, we can actually make a difference in the world and make it a better place. So on behalf of everybody who's been on this panel right now, on behalf of the Awesome Caribbean Feeling, I say thank you for watching this. Thank you in advance for sharing it, because I know you will. And I love you.